Well, John Banaszak, I gave him a ribbing in the locker room. He didn't know about that sign hanging out there, and I was telling the players about it. And I said to Banaszak, boy, those are some kind of guys you loaf with. And he said, oh, they have to do anything. But in any event, Jack, the Saints are expected to run to the left today to try the same thing that the Chiefs did against the Steelers with considerable success last week. And it'll be a test for the Steelers' right side of their defense with Mel Blount still having a partial shoulder separation at right cornerback, but about 85% right.
The Saints have won the toss, and the Steelers on defense will show L.C. Greenwood, Joe Green, John Banaszak, and Dwight White up front. Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, and Lauren Taves as the linebackers. Ron Johnson on the left side on the corner. Mel Blount on the right corner. Mike Wagner and Donnie Shell. The Saints will be receiving. They have on white shirts. They have the old gold helmets, black numerals, black pants, gold and white stripe. Now the Steelers in the black jerseys today, the gold pants, and the Steeler gold is a brighter gold, different type than worn by New Orleans. Steelers wear black helmets. So with the bright sun beaming down, temperature nearing 70 degrees, we're ready for football at Three Rivers, and Roy Girella will tee it up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He'll kick off from left to right. And New Orleans will go down deep with Wes Chandler playing in the middle. Clarence Chapman will be to his left, and Rich Mauti, M-A-U-T-I, will be over to his right. New Orleans trying to build on a 3-game win streak. And the New Orleans club under Dick Nolan showing signs of life that John Mecom, the owner, has been looking for down there for 11 years. And they're beginning to find it under the tutelage of Nolan. Hank Stram, an outstanding coach, struck out at New Orleans. So Nolan will try to do it. He says that Mecom has given him full sway. They confer with each other. They talk a lot, but that he runs the football club. Wes Chandler deep for New Orleans. The ball teed up by Girella. They're apparently not ready to go. Roy comes up and looks at the ball again. Girella ready. Here it comes. Left to right. High. Down near the goal line at the 2. Chandler with the ball over the 5, the 10, the 15. Swings right, comes to the 19, and is knocked down. Slowed down by Jack Delaplane. And then hit by 3 other Steelers. Headed up by Larry Anderson and the rookie Rick Moser.
And that's good special teams work because Wes Chandler is one of the better kickoff return men in the National Football League. Fact of the matter is that he was averaging 24.1 yards per kickoff return coming in. That's nifty. Good enough to rank him 5th in the National Conference. But the Steelers stopped him. Nice play, Delaplane.
Archie Manning is the quarterback. Chuck Muncie and Tony Galbraith are the running backs. They use a slot man to the left side. Tinker Owens and Ike Harris are their wideouts. Henry Childs plays the tight end position. Now they whip a man in motion out of the slot. Manning drops back, fakes to him, fires up to the 40-yard line. Owens takes it on a hook at the 40, and it's completed to the second-year man from Oklahoma. So Tinker Owens receives the pass, and Donnie Shell makes the tackle on him at the 39-yard line. They brought the man out of the slot in quick motion. That was Ike Harris. And Manning faked to him back deep and then flipped the pass upfield, so they have struck through the air for their first down.
New Orleans comes right out firing and showing that they mean business. They're not going to just test the Steelers. They want to strike a little fear into them right away.
This time the split end Owens is to the left. Harris is set up as a flanker to the right in a strong right formation. And the give is to Tony Galbraith, and he hits almost into the middle of the line, crossing the 40, out to about the 42.5-yard line. Play is blown dead with Jack Lambert down at the bottom of the pileup, along with Dwight White for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we'll mark the ball at the 42. A gain of 3 yards for the Saints. They look at second down and 7 yards to go. J.T. Taylor, a rookie, plays at left tackle. Fred Sturt is at left guard. John Hill is the center. Dave LaFari, the right guard. Robert Woods is the right tackle in the interior line for the Saints. Archie Manning from Ole Miss, an 8-year veteran, is the quarterback. Manning fakes, goes back, is in trouble, and falls at the 39-yard line. A broken play, and Manning very alertly went down, covered by Dwight White of the Steelers. So the Saints are back behind the 40 again, and it's going to be third down and 10 yards to go.
And I do think that Manning had it in mind to throw that football. Interestingly enough, Mel Blount at right cornerback playing Tinker Owens very tight on that play. Not dropping off because of the shoulder injury, but meaning business right up there on the line.
Lauren Taves is out of the ball game, and Tony Dungy is in as the fifth defensive back for the Steelers as they bunch their defense up front. A lot of men pulled up very tight, and Manning goes back. He wants to throw over that defense. He fires down the far side of the field, overthrows his target. That was Tinker Owens going down the far sideline inside the Pittsburgh 40-yard line with Frank Wagner across the way and Ron Johnson to cover the play. And the pass was overthrown and fell incomplete. That means that the Saints will give up the football now to the Steelers. And they go to Tom Blanchard, their punter, who averages 41.6 per kick on the season. And Blanchard will punt it right to left, standing back at his own 24-yard line as the Steelers put a single receiver downfield in T-Bell. Blanchard standing back there takes the snap. Here comes the rush. He barely gets it away, but he booms it. Bell backing up all the way back inside the 5 and watches the ball bounce into the end zone. So Blanchard kicks that one 60 yards from the line of scrimmage. A fantastic punt by Tom Blanchard, and the Steelers have the ball at their own 20. No score in the ball game. Timeout down in the field. We'll be right back.
So we saw in that punt that Chaz Nola was tinkering, trying to get some more oomph into his punt returns. He did not have Randy Rudershan back deep. Instead, T. Bell, who smartly let that one go into the end zone. The Steelers at their own 20.
Stallworth to the left, Swan to the right, Blyer and Harris are the running backs. Bradshaw, the quarterback, Grossman, the tight end, and to give us to Blyer, finds an opening through the middle, plows into some people, and comes up almost to the 24-yard line. And down at the bottom of the play, Joe Fettersfield, the middle linebacker, along with Jim Merlo, the left side linebacker for the Saints. Steelers have John Kolb at left tackle, Sam Davis at left guard, Mike Webster at center, Jerry Mullins at right guard, and Ray Pinney playing the right tackle position in place of Larry Brown. Eloy Scrooms, Alex Price, Derlin Moore, and Joe Campbell in the front four for the Saints in that flex. The handoff is to Franco. He tests the flex over the 25 out to the 27-yard line. Harris, the ball carrier, and again Fettersfield, the middle linebacker, and a 7-year veteran from Kentucky is at the bottom of the play. It's going to be 3rd down and 3 yards to go for the Steelers at their own 27.
The Steelers have begun typically in 9 of their 10 ball games. They've started out on their first play from scrimmage with the run. They've been fairly successful. They did it again today.
Harris needs 30 yards today to reach 7,000 career yards running. He has 675 on the season, 3rd in the AFC. Bradshaw calling the signals, goes straight back in the pocket, sets up, fires downfield, and hits his target. Stallworth at the 47 over the 50, fights his way down to the same 45 and goes down to the 44-yard line. Ray Brown had the best hold on him, got help from Jim Merlo as Johnny Stallworth came on a slant across and took the ball and galloped into New Orleans territory. And the play starting down at the 27-yard line, covered 23 yards plus 6, 29 yards downfield.
Well, Tommy Myers, the free safety, was playing Stallworth too tight so that when Stallworth caught the ball, he was able to quickly move out ahead of Myers and tack on good yardage.
Stallworth gets his 25th catch of the season. Hand off to Harris over the right side, cuts back to the left, goes to the 40. Takes an official down with him at the 35-yard line as he is tackled by the free safety, Tom Myers. And they advance the ball nicely. 9 yards against the Saints defense. Merlo, Fettersfield, and Pat Hughes are the linebackers. Clarence Chapman is on the left corner. Maurice Spencer on the right corner. The strong safety is Ray Brown. And the free safety, Tom Myers. Myers, you may remember, is a 7-year veteran from Syracuse. Swan to the right. Stallworth to the left. Bradshaw calls the signals. Bradshaw to Blind. He goes right to the middle, flag on the play as he gallops down over the 30 and takes the ball down to the New Orleans 26-yard line. Merlo and Brown made the stop. And the Steelers are called for holding, so New Orleans will take a 10-yard penalty against the Steelers. That's a tough break because they're eating them up down the middle.
Yeah, it looks like they were finding the gaps in that flex, finding people standing still and whipping on through there, but the penalty hurts. So the ball is marched back. Hold it. Number 52, offense, 2nd down. I believe the call, he said Mike Webster, but you heard it out there, and the ball is moved back to the 45-yard line. I believe he said 52.
2nd down and 11 yards to go. Wideouts both ways for the Steelers. Split backs are Blyer and Harris. Bradshaw dropping back, swing pass to the right to Harris at the 48, over the 45. The 40 picks up a great block, goes over the 35 and down to the 30. Got the block from Jerry Moon Mullins at the 42 as Franco went to the 30-yard line, stopped by Derlin Moore and Ray Brown. A beautifully executed swing pass to the right side, and cutting over there to give him the key block was Jerry Mullins, the 8-year veteran from Southern California.
You betcha he had another blocker out there in front, Mike Webster, but Mullins put a good block on Jim Murgo, the linebacker, and flattened Murgo. So, okay, the Steelers are really attacking.
Harris gets his 12th reception of the season. First down 10. Wideouts both ways. Bradshaw giving the ball to Harris, and this time they were ready and waiting at the 30-yard line as Franco is hit by the middle linebacker, Fetterspiel, who plays up in there and falls forward near the 28-yard line. I guess they'll mark it at the 29, so it's a gain of less than a yard. Second down, about 9.5 yards to go for the Steelers. They are inside the Saints' 30-yard line. There is no score. 28-7. Swan to the right, Stallworth to the left. Bradshaw looks over that defense. 4 down linemen. Handoff goes to Harris over the left side. He is running over the 25, the 20, and inside to the 18-yard line. Ray Brown finally got a grip on him. Now you see the blocking opening up the holes, and that time a gaping escape route for Harris as he took no time at all to get in there and then found his way down over the 20 and onto the 18-yard line. The Steelers have their third first down of the afternoon. Mike Webster goes over the football. Swan is a flanker to the right. That's the near side. Stallworth is split left. The running backs are set close. The handoff is to Franco, and Franco comes through the middle and down over the 15. He'll take it to the 13-yard line before Joe Fetterspiel manages to pull him down to the artificial turf of Three Rivers Stadium. And the Steelers are knocking at the door at the Saints' 13-yard line. Harris picks up 5 solid yards. Second down and 5 yards to go.
And that time the Saints got out of their flex. They put their defensive linemen right up front, but the Steeler offensive line got off the ball good and moved them out of there.
This time they have a backer pulled up on the left side defensively. Bradshaw moves Harris over a couple of steps. He's just become the 7th player, Harris, in pro football history to reach the 7,000 yards mark. He's done that, and they hand it off to him, and he cracked all the way down to the 10-yard line. Pat Hughes made the stop. Harris has 7,000 yards career rushing. The ball is between the 10 and 11-yard line, and the crowd is standing and applauding Franco Harris. And Lynn Swan, coming out of the ball game, turns and applauds him. Swan and Stallworth come out. Steve Corson goes in. Sidney Thornton goes in, and the Steelers will go to 2 tight ends, and their short yardage offense, 3rd down and 3 yards to go. Just outside the Saints 10. Thornton is the wing back to the right. The handoff goes to Blyer, trying to run off the right side, and he's tripped up at the 10-yard line. Ray Brown made the tackle. So they stack up the play at the 10-yard line. The Steelers are 4th and 2, and here comes Girella.
Yes, this has been Noel's pattern in recent games. He doesn't want to come away from there without any points at all. So Girella will have an easy chip shot. I might point out that only Jim Brown and O.J. Simpson gained 7,000 yards their first 7 years, as Franco now has done. So he joins the Lex Company indeed.
Girella's going to go for a 27-yarder. In that range, he has made 2 for 2 on the season. Craig Colquitt, the rookie from Tennessee, is the holder. At the 17, it's down. Girella kicks it up there high enough, long enough, it's good. Girella from 27 yards out, and the score is 3-0 Pittsburgh. Steelers football continues after this timeout.
Had been dozing, you might say, in recent weeks, but they really took it to the Saints starting at their own 20-yard line on that scoring drive. Bradshaw threw only twice, completed them both. Good running by Franco in particular. The Steelers lead 3-0 in the first period.
Wes Chandler's down deep again for the New Orleans Saints. Clarence Chapman is to his left, and Rich Monty is to his right. Girella takes time to tie his shoe, and he's ready to kick it off again. Chandler's 5th in the NFC in kickoff returns, averaging 24.1 per return. This one is hooked over to the far side, bouncing out of bounds around the 14-yard line. So Jarrella hooked that one to the far side, and the ball in front of Rich Monty, the second-year man from Penn State, went out of bounds. The Steelers will be penalized 5 yards for illegal procedure, and that will bring the ball back to the 30-yard line, and Jarrella will kick it off from that point.
That fellow Rich Monty, by the way, the ex-Penn Stater, has been phenomenal on the Saints special teams going down under kicks. He's had 19 unassisted tackles, and the season is not nearly over. Hey, a reminder for those of you listening to WTAE in Pittsburgh, be sure to stay with us after the game for Steelers Hotline. This year, after every home game, we'll open the phone lines for you to call in and talk Steelers. Jack Flemming and I will be in the Steeler offices with Bob Koppler back at the studios. Join us for our all-new Steelers Hotline right after this game. Monty was not used very much to go down under kicks when he played for Penn State, interestingly enough, but that's because they used him in many other ways, as a wide receiver, for example, and running back kicks. But he made it with New Orleans as a free agent last year, and they're real happy with him. They call him Harry Hustle.
Down below in the Steeler bench area in his street clothes, Larry Brown having some intense conversation with Ray Finney and John Kolb. Here is Squib kick coming down, bouncing inside the 15. Tough to handle, back inside the 10. Clarence Chapman picks it up. Coming up over the 15. Touch to his left. And a tackle assist by Tony Dungy, and then he is caught and brought down. Mike Wagner had him high, and Larry Anderson had him low, and T. Bell was down there, and they were wrestling the man around, so Jarrella did not have a picturesque kick, but that's one of the toughest that there is to handle. The return is only to the 18-yard line, so once again, the Steeler coverage was excellent.
Yes, and that guy might have broken to the sideline were it not for the tackle that Dungy almost made. He did get a piece of him, however, and it was a nifty play by Dungy, and then T. Bell got him by the wrist and twirled him around until finally he was stopped.
Tinker Owens sets up wide to the left as the split end. The flanker to the right is Ike Harris. The split backs are wide as Archie Manning calls the signal. Manning turns, there's nobody there to hand off to. A broken play again. He wheels forward to the right and is brought down. Archie Manning turned around to issue the handoff to somebody, and nobody was there. Jack Ham covered him at the 19-yard line along with L.C. Greenwood. So you saw him wheel. He had his back set out wide, the split back. And when he turned, there was nobody there. What a feeling that must be. You look around, you want company, and you're all alone. Mel Blount, playing the right corner for the Steelers, comes out wide to the right to cover Ike Harris. He gives him about 10 yards. In the meantime, Johnson is covering Owens head-to-head at the far side of the field as Manning on the draw hands the ball off, and that is Tony Galbraith going off the right side across the 20 and up to the 23-yard line with Jack Lambert and Jack Ham teaming up on the stop. They'll mark the ball at the 22.5-yard line. The Saints look at 3rd down 6.
And by the way, we haven't mentioned it, but although we have a beautiful day, Pittsburgh has had an inversion problem, an air pollution problem, and some of the coaches I spoke to thought that as this game wears along, it may be a problem for the ball players.
They're down at 6 yards to go. The Steelers have an extra defensive back in there, Tony Dungy. Little stunning by Jack Lambert. And the handoff is given to Chuck Muncie. Muncie running to the left, caught at the 25 and ridden down at the 28-yard line. Muncie came very close to getting the first down before Lambert encountered him. Muncie is a third-year man, 6'3", 220, played at Cal, and he got the first down. So Chuck Muncie picks up enough yardage for the first down, and the Saints from their own 29-yard line, 1st and 10.
Well, big Tony Galbraith, he's 230, was trying to take Jack Splatt out of this play, but Jack hung in tough to make the tackle, even though they did get the first down.
Saints send a running back, Muncie, in motion out to the right as Manning fakes, drops back deep, looks, he's got Muncie out. No, he's got the tight end, Henry Childs, out there, hits him in the right flat, and he's immediately snowed under at the 32.5-yard line. Jack Ham played him well. Henry Childs was drifting out in the open. The big guy at 6'2", 220 in his 5th year from Kansas State. And so Manning went to him, and immediately he was brought down. The gain is short, about 3.5 yards.
Manning now 2 for 3. The Saints trail the Steelers 3-0. We've got a little less than 4 minutes remaining in the first period.
John Banaszak is out of the defensive line, and Steve Furness, the 7-year veteran from Rhode Island, is in there at right tackle. Steelers with 4 down linemen. Taves pulled up on the right side, very tight. And Manning dropping straight back, pumps once, and then flips it downfield. There is Muncie over the 50 to the 45, the 40, and down to the Pittsburgh 35-yard line. Muncie, a step beyond Jack Lambert, pulled in a nicely thrown pass by Archie Manning. And the big guy from Uniontown carries it to the Steeler 35-yard line. First down, 10, New Orleans.
Yes, he got in behind Jack Ham. The Steelers had Lauren Taves working a delayed blitz on that play, leaving themselves perhaps a little short-handed in the secondary. But at any rate, it's a big play for the Saints. They're at the Steelers' 35-yard line, and they've got the offense that they can do something. They've got those big running backs and a good quarterback.
Only the 10th catch of the year for Muncie. Galbraith is their leading receiver with 45 on the season, placing him high in the NFC. Pitch out to the left side. Muncie with a blocker. Cuts over the left side of the line across the 35 and drives down to the 30-yard line, where Mike Wagner is responsible for bringing him down. Good blocking. Well-executed play with Muncie, the ball carrier. Muncie goes 6'3", 220. And the ball is just shy of the 30-yard line. It's going to be second down and a long 5 yards to go for the New Orleans Saints, who trail 3-0 against the Steelers.
Chuck Muncie, of course, a number 1 draft pick, now in his 3rd year, played for California after leaving Uniontown, PA.
Tinker Owens and Ike Harris are the wideouts. They're in the I formation, putting Muncie at the top of the I for New Orleans to give to Muncie. Cuts into the center of the line, angles right, and goes down to the 27-yard line. Needed the 25 for a first down. Joe Green and L.C. Greenwood shoulder to shoulder at the bottom of the play for the Steelers. Greenwood now in his 10th year from Arkansas A&M. Green in his 10th season from North Texas State. They spot the ball at the 26.5-yard line. Third down, 1.5 yards to go, as Tinker Owens leaves the field and Larry Hardy, a rookie from Jackson State, comes on as the second tight end. They set their wingback up to the right side. Short yardage formation for New Orleans with 2 tight ends. And the give is to Tony Galbraith. And he's fighting, trying to get the first down, and he may have it at the 25-yard line. It is a first down for New Orleans. Number 4 in the ball game for the Saints. Joe Green and Jack Lambert make the tackle.
And Lauren Taves made a heck of an attempt to stop that play short of the sticks. He was battling blockers furiously, but they drove him back just enough that he was able to make the stick. So here are the Saints at the 25-yard line of the Steelers. They started, well, back at their 18.
First down, 10 yards to go at the 25-yard line. They move right to left. We're in the first quarter at Three River Stadium. Out of the I formation, the give to the inside back, Galbraith. Over the 25, straight ahead to the 23-yard line. Joe Green and L.C. Green. L.C. Greenwood and Joe Green at the bottom of the play. Ball is marked at the 23.5-yard line. Greenwood, Green, Furness, and White play the front 4. Ham, Lambert, and Taves are the backers. Johnson and Blunt on the corners. Wagner and Shell are the safeties. And as New Orleans comes to the line of scrimmage with John Hill going over the football, they bring Ike Harris to the left and send Tinker Owens out to the right, and the gun sounds the end of the first quarter. We're at the end of the first quarter of the ball game. The score, Pittsburgh 3, New Orleans 0.
Well, we've seen some good offensive football by both teams in the first quarter, even though it ended with only 3 points up on the board, those 3 getting there via the Roy Jarrella field goal. Nonetheless, both teams have shown an ability to move the football. The Saints have driven from their 18-yard line to the Steelers' 23, where they'll have second down and 9. The big play was Archie Manning throwing to Chuck Muncie, a pass good for 32 yards. So the Saints are making serious trouble for the Steelers at this point in the ball game as we begin the second period.
Ball is at the 23-yard line. Second down and 8 yards to go. Ike Harris to the left. Tinker Owens to the right. The Saints now move left to right. Start of the second period. Archie Manning, 8-year veteran from Ole Miss, is the quarterback. Manning stops short in the pocket. Flips one downfield. Up in the air. Jack Lambert intercepts at the 16. Comes over the 20 and down at the 21-yard line. He was going short right down the middle to Henry Childs, the tight end. And Lambert went up in the air high and pulled that one in like a limber, light, wide receiver. Lambert went up and intercepted and gets his second interception of the season, and the Steelers get it back at the 21-yard line. We'll be right back.
Your Steelerland Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Well, on second and long, Archie Manning put the ball in the crowd over the middle. Not only was Lambert there, Lauren Taves was behind Lambert. Lambert made a leaping interception. The Steelers now taking over at their 21-yard line.
Terry Bradshaw at the controls. Play action fake to Franco. Bradshaw chased out of the pocket, running with the football to the right over the 20, the 25, and goes down at the 26-yard line. As the tackle is made by Jim Merlo and Joe Fetterspiel, and a penalty marker is going down.
Fetterspiel is going to be called for a late hit on Bradshaw. They are protecting the quarterback very stringently this year. The calls, as a matter of fact, for late hits on quarterbacks, I just happened to read in Sports Illustrated, are up 59% this year. I was hoping Bradshaw would go down. He's got that bum arm, and he did fall down, but they landed on him anyhow, and they get the call.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 58, defense, first down.
So Joe Fetterspiel is assessed a penalty, and it moves the ball out to the Pittsburgh 42-yard line.
Steelers are back at the line of scrimmage at the 42. The quarterback is Bradshaw. First down 10 with Flyer in motion. The pitch out goes to Harris. He's trapped running to the right, and he's going to be nailed. He could not find the corner as Jim Merlo and Ray Brown trap Franco Harris back behind the 40-yard line, and they will mark the football at the Pittsburgh 36-yard line. A loss of 5 yards on the play. We'll be back after this pause on the Steelers Football Network. Second down at 15 yards to go for the Steelers at their own 36. Bradshaw drops back, flips it out to the left. Franco on the swing at the 35, has 2 men in front of him at the 40, and is knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line. He was trapped, and Pat Hughes got to him as Joe Fetterspiel helped corner him at the near side of the field. And Harris brings it back to the 42-yard line, and they're looking at third down and 10 yards to go. Bradshaw, with 2 completions to Harris, is now 3 for 3 on the afternoon, and Franco has his 12th and 13th receptions of the season. At the near hash mark, the running room is to the right. This time, Stallworth is in the slot to the right side. And Bradshaw is looking again. Going deep for Swan, and 20 is out there, overthrown. Swan inside the 20 got beyond Clarence Chapman. But the ball was about 3 to 5 yards beyond Swan, and it falls incomplete.
Oh, he had the big 6 there. Yeah, Chapman was beaten, but Bradshaw overthrew Swan considerably, and that would have been a sure 6 points. It would have been a 57-yard touchdown play. Bradshaw was getting good protection against the 4-man rush, but he just overthrew Swan.
Greg Colquhoun is on the punt for the Steelers, averaging 40.1 per kick. Wes Chandler downfield for New Orleans. Colquhoun, bad kick. Coming out of bounds on the near side of the field. Wowie. He hooked that one out of bounds at the New Orleans 30-yard line. So for the line of scrimmage, just 28 yards. Steelers football continues after this timeout.
Punt by Colquitt. The snap seemed to take him about a half stride off to his left, but I don't think it was any serious problem. He was not under a strong rush, and he seemed to be, perhaps because the snap moved him left, but he seemed to be trying to angle that kick to the sideline, even though he had plenty of punting room. Perhaps they are doing that today to try to avoid specific kick return people, but in any event, he got it off badly, much too much to the sideline, and so the Saints take over after that 21-yard punt by Craig Coldcut at their own 30-yard line, and that was a baloney of a kick.
Oh, my goodness. Boy, you are developing into rare form this afternoon. We need to get the ball back again. Manning at his own 30, wideouts both ways. Over over came L.C. Greenwood and made contact with the Saints' Robert Woods. And let's see what the ruling will be. Calling it against the Steelers, so that will cost 5 yards. Encroachment is the terminology. That means he made contact. You're not supposed to come over and touch that guy. Head of the staff. Second down, first down and 1. First down and 5. You know, I'm getting myself confused. First down and 5.
That's what it is.
I like to see that every now and then. That tells you that that man in his 10th year is eager for the contact. He had something in mind on that play. Let's watch him this time. Now it's going the other way. The pitch out to Muncie. Running turns the corner at the 35 and is brought down at the 39-yard line by Lauren Taves. Underneath that is Lambert. So they were both there, and you'll mark the ball at the 39-yard line, and it's second down 1.
Well, that was good pursuit by Taves and Lambert because Mel Blunt, who was trying to make the tackle to the outside, had his hands full with a guard named Dave Ghaffari, who simply goes 6'7", 280. This club has some big linemen.
Second down 1. Wing back, close on the right side, split end out to the left. And the handoff is to Galbraith. And he makes it over the 40 to the 41-yard line for the first down. Jack Lambert in the middle with L.C. Greenwood to tangle up the runner. New Orleans has now picked up its 5th first down to pass the Steelers in that department 5-4. As suspected, this is a tough football team.
Yeah, their statistics are misleading because offensively, for example, the Saints don't rank high. In fact, they rank pretty low in the National Conference. But you know that they can move that football. You know they have a Galbraith, a Muncie, and a Manning.
Tinker Owens wide left, and Ike Harris is in the slot to the left side. They run out of the eye. Muncie is at the top of the eye. He steps over to the left now. Manning on the long count gives it to Galbraith, and Tony comes up the middle over the 45, eats up people to the 47-yard line, and Joe Green is down at the bottom of the play. Tony Galbraith, third-year man, 6'1", 230, from the University of Missouri. Comes out of a fabled football pass in the Big 8 Conference. He picked up 7 yards on that carry.
And the Saints have not run as much to their left as the Steelers and many of us had expected them to. Actually, they've been punching it up the middle fairly well, although a couple of plays ago we did see them make good yardage on the sweep.
Wideouts both ways. That brings Harris to the near side, and Owen split to the far side, and the give us to Muncie. And Muncie started right, headed into the center, and he ran into Jack Lambert, among others. Lambert was up high, and Joe Green was down low, and he is stopped short of a first down. Mark the ball at the 48-yard line, 3rd and 2.
That was just a classic splat. Jack Splat landed on him. Wow.
Somewhere during the past week, on your talk show, people were questioning Lambert's intensity. I've never seen that intensity vary.
He's been hurt a little for several weeks.
Lambert is perched right up in the middle. The other linebackers are up close. And here is Muncie, tied up running to the right, but he gave it a great effort, and he may have the first down. It's going to be very close. Chuck Muncie stopped by Lambert and Shell. And to Muncie's credit, he gave it a great effort, and he's not going to get it. He'll miss it by about a foot as the nose of the football is at the 50. And it is 4th down, less than a yard to go as they bring on their punter, Tom Blanchard. Blanchard, in his first punt this afternoon, got off a 60-yarder. He's going to be confined now to a 50-yard maximum. The line of scrimmage is at the 50, and probably he'll go for a corner with Rudershan downfield along with T. Bell for the Steelers. The punt will carry left to right. Pittsburgh with 9 men up front. Blanchard at his own 35, standing, waiting for the football. They do not put a rush on him, and his kick is bad. Off his foot, wobbly, coming out of bounds on the near side. So Blanchard gets one off the right side of his foot, and it wobbles over and comes out of bounds on the near side of the field, around the 25-yard line, a 25-yard punt. We'll be right back.
That's Brewing Company, Milwaukee, and other cities.
Steelers call for an illegal cut. 5-yard penalty for New Orleans. Moves the ball to the 45, first down 10. Manning has them back at the line of scrimmage. He's back and looking. Flips it out to the left. Muncy pulls it in at the 42, over the 40, down to the 35, angling toward the sideline. Brought down at the Steelers' 37-yard line. Chuck Muncy firing out of the backfield to the left, taking the pass. Lambert is over there along with Blunt and Mike Wagner to make the stop. They mark the ball at the 32-yard line. First down, New Orleans.
So that was a big penalty against Rick Mosier, the Steeler rookie, because the Steelers would have had the ball at their own 25 after a poor punt. Instead, the Saints drive keeps moving.
Muncy has picked up his 11th reception of the season. New Orleans at the Steelers' 32-yard line. Wideouts to both sides. Manning is back, looking right, then going down the middle, drilling the ball, flag on the play. It's incomplete at the 30-yard line. Penalty marker is down. They're going to assess a call here, and the initial call is holding against New Orleans.
Well, the referee today is Jerry Markbright, by the way. We haven't had a lot of penalties in this ball game, but they're picking up now, and this one will help the Steelers. They were gaming on that play, coming at Manning, and perhaps somebody under pressure decided that the only way he was going to stop them was to hold. We'll see just who that somebody is in a moment. You'll get the referee's call.
Holding, number 68, offense, first down.
So it was Fred Sturt, the big guard for the New Orleans Saints, who is playing today against John Banaszak.
First down and 20 yards to go for New Orleans, trailing 3-0 in the ball game. We're in the second quarter with 9:28 to play. Manning calling the signals for New Orleans. Long count. Now Manning goes back deep, cocks his arm and lets one fly downfield. Open man at the 20-yard line. Hooking, Ike Harris pulls it in and immediately is covered by Jack Ham as he went down on the turf. Good for a first down at the Pittsburgh 20-yard line, and Ike Harris was the target.
And a small correction, I said that Sturt was playing against Banaszak, but at the moment, Steve Furness has been in there at right tackle for the Steelers. The receiver on that play, Ike Harris, was pretty well open, and Manning hit him nicely. So the Saints are at the Steelers' 20.
They caught the Steelers at a blitz. You look down there, all of a sudden, Harris is open at the 20-yard line. So it is first down, 10 for New Orleans. Clock turning with 8:50 to play in the second period. Manning has his club at the 20. Manning gives it off to Galbraith, and Galbraith through the middle will get about 3 yards. Joe Green is down at the bottom with L.C. Greenwood on the tackle, and they mark the ball at the 17.5-yard line. Second down, 7.5 yards to go for New Orleans. Greenwood, Green, Furness is back in there. Banaszak had re-entered the game, but Furness is in now. White in the front four. Ham, Lambert, Taves, Johnson and Blunt on the corners. Wagner and Shell of the safeties. Head-to-head coverage for the wideouts. Wide set in the backfield. Manning with maximum protection is back there. Gets rid of the ball. Down to the 10. Open man. Pulled in by Harris, and he fights his way down to the 5-yard line. Harris comes down and is wide open at the 10. Mel Blunt and Donnie Shell make the stop. And New Orleans has advanced the football to the Steeler 5-yard line.
Yes, Ike Harris doing a little curl into the middle there as Dwight White was putting some pressure on Archie Manning. The Steelers have not been able to get a lot of pressure on him. They lead the Saints 3-0 on a chip shot field goal by Roy Girella in the first period, but the Saints are now at the 5-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Henry Childs and Larry Hardy are both in there as tight ends. Actually, Hardy sets up as the wingback. Handoff taken by Muncy. Running to the left, he is Dale. Muncy brought down on the far side by Jack Lambert. And a loss on the play of maybe a yard, half yard. So it is second down, 5.5 yards to go. They line up in that two tight end situation. Robert Woods was on the right, and Henry Childs was on the left, and Larry Hardy was the wingback. Now let's see how they do it. This time, they're sending Hardy to the left side. Rich Baughty is the wingback, set on the right side. And they have two bona fide tight ends in there. Manning rolling to the right, throwing into the end zone, caught for a touchdown. Rich Motti from Penn State beating Ron Johnson, coming down and across from the far side to the near side in the end zone, and Motti came up with the ball and held it triumphantly in the air, and the Saints are on the board with the first touchdown of the ball game.
And so, again, the penalty against Rick Mosier on the New Orleans punt from midfield turns out to be very costly indeed. It brought the punt back. The Saints resumed their drive. They've scored. They're now ahead 6-3. Then about to attempt the extra point.
Only the third catch of the season for Motti, but his second TD catch. Rich Zarro will try for the point after. 5-year man from Harvard. Kicks. It is up there. It is good. New Orleans has taken a 7-3 lead over the Steelers, and Steelers football continues after this timeout. Stay over a network encompassing parts of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, Ohio, and we have readings for our listeners today on WVAM in Altoona, WAKM Bedford, WNCC Barnesboro, PA. Steve Mickemeyer is the kicker, not Zarro, who was dropped. Mickemeyer gets it down to the 15, and here comes Anderson over the 20, the 25, the 30, up to the 35, battles his way to the 38-yard line, and Mickemeyer makes the tackle. Short kickoff. Larry Anderson on the return, back to the 38-yard line of the Steelers. First down, 10 yards to go. Anderson, the rookie from Louisiana Tech.
So a run back of a little better than 20 yards. Anderson broke 2 tackles along the way.
Lynn Swan sets up to the right and John Stallworth to the left. Stallworth is the flanker. And the give is to Blyer inside, right through the middle, over the 40 and up to the 44-yard line. Don Reese and Jim Merlo team up on the stop for the New Orleans Saints. Alois Grooms in the forward wall is a 4-year veteran from Tennessee Tech. Alex Price in his 6th year, Alcorn State. Derlin Moore, 6-year veteran from Oklahoma. And Don Reese, playing now defensive right end, is a 4-year man from Jackson State. Merlo, Bitterspiel, and Hughes are the linebackers. Chapman and Spencer on the corners. Brown and Myers are the safeties. Second down 4 for the Steelers. Trailing 7-3. The give is to Blyer, and Blyer comes through the middle over the 45. They grab him around the shoulders and bring him down at the 49-yard line. Don Reese reacting on that play, and Tom Myers helping out. A first down for the Steelers. They're 5th in the ball game, and the ball is just shy of the 50.
And the Steelers have run the ball well here today. The problem has been that they haven't had it often enough because the Saints have controlled the football the majority of this first half that has 5.5 minutes remaining. The Saints leading 7-3.
In the backfield are Rocky Blyer and Franco Harris for Pittsburgh. Terry Bradshaw is the quarterback. The formation is strong left. He sets them. Gives the ball to Blyer. Again, the hole is there, and Blyer on a buck crosses the 50, the 45, and down to the 42-yard line. Jim Merlo and Ray Brown. So Bradshaw apparently is doing a superb job of calling the plays, possibly audibilizing at the line of scrimmage and looking at this defense, and he is finding running room for Blyer on this series. A 9-yard gain. Second down and 1. New Orleans on top. 7-3. Bradshaw sets his club again. And to give to Blyer. Big hole for Blyer. And he goes through down to the 35 and onto the 34, but the penalty marker goes down behind him. Rocky Blyer had the first down and then some. We have a holding call against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow, the Steelers have been finding a big hole just to the right of center Mike Webster, and they have really been exploiting that. But this time, although the Rock found it again,
illegal use of the hands, number 52, offense, second down.
Mike Webster is called for the second time today for holding, and maybe that's why they were finding the good hole to the right of Mike Webster.
Ball is back at the 49-yard line. Second down, 10.5 yards to go. Terry Bradshaw gives the ball to Blyer. Blyer breaks the tackle at the line of scrimmage, crosses through there again, goes down over the 45 and onto the 44-yard line. See Ray Penny standing up and then looking around to see if there were any flags behind him. Fetterspiel made the tackle, and they bring it right back to the New Orleans 44-yard line, where it's going to be third down, about 3.5 yards to go. The Steelers have 4:05 remaining in the first half. They trail 7-3, and they come out of the huddle with Stallworth wide left to the near side, and Swan in that left slot. They have not thrown to Swan except once deep, and he was overthrown on a touchdown try, a long bomb. Bradshaw drops back. Bradshaw drilling the ball out to the 38-yard line to Blyer, and Blyer scampers down over the 35 and is knocked down at the 34 by Fetterspiel and Hughes. Blyer down low took that pass. He actually didn't scamper. He more or less stumbled, kept his balance, and got the ball to the 34.5-yard line for a first down.
Yes, nice play by the whole team because Bradshaw got real good protection against what was a pretty brisk rush, and then he got Rocky isolated on the linebacker, Fetterspiel, and it's the first down.
Rocky's 10th catch of the season. Bradshaw stopping short in the pocket, firing out to the 30 at the near side to Stallworth. Stallworth fumbles the football, and I believe New Orleans has it. He caught the pass, was hit, lost the football, and the Saints come up with it. The hit was made by the cornerback, Maurice Spencer. The ball shot up into the air, and Tom Myers came over and scooped it up on the bounce, and the Saints have it back at their own 34-yard line.
Yes, he threw the quick pass out to the sideline to Stallworth, who caught it on his knee, and then he got up because he had room to run, but he took the hit, and he lost the football. It popped into the air, and Tommy Myers, the safety man, came up to catch it in his belly just before being knocked out of bounds by Stallworth. And there was no question about it. It was a good call by the officials. Myers was in bounds and did have possession of that football. So the Saints, with the turnover here, the first one that they've taken advantage of, the Steelers had an interception earlier in the game to stop a New Orleans drive that had gone deep into Steeler territory. But the Saints back with the football now, and they have been tough when they've had that football. They've been able to control it. We've got 3 minutes left in the first half. The Saints leading 7-3. The Steelers drove downfield the first time they had the football in the first quarter, drove from their own 20 to within easy distance for Roy Jarrella, who on a 4th and 2 play kicked a 27-yard field goal. Then the Saints threatened and went clear down to the Steelers' 23, where Manning threw it into a crowd, which is unlike him. He'd thrown only 7 interceptions coming into this football game, but he did throw it into the crowd down the middle, and Jack Lambert picked it off to stop that drive. But then the Saints came right back, and though they had to give up the football on a punt, they got it right back because Rick Mosier, the Steeler rookie, was called for an illegal cut on that kick, so they were given a 5-yard penalty that gave the Saints a first down, and they kept going, and they went into score, and they lead 7-3, and they have the ball again now at their 34-yard line. 3:07 left in the half.
First down, 10 Saints. They move left to right at their own 34-yard line. Galbraith and Muncie are the running backs, and on a delay, Galbraith runs to the right, and he goes nowhere. Lambert comes through to get him at the 30-yard line. Lambert firing up there. Now we have LC down on the ground, and the official standing right on top of him, talking with him as he gets up. The conversation continues momentarily. About a 4-yard loss on the play, second down and 14 on the aborted run to the right side. Mike Strawn is in the ball game, a 4-year veteran from Iowa State, replacing Chuck Muncie. Strawn is in the backfield. The quarterback is Archie Manning. Manning goes to Strawn on a swing pass to the left over the 30, the 35, and he drives to the 40. He goes on to the 42-yard line. Jack Ham and Jack Lambert, check that. Jack Ham over there to make the tackle along with Lauren Taves at the 42-yard line, and the penalty marker has gone down, and we'll get the initial call, see exactly what they're going to do. Ball has been advanced to the 42-yard line. Interference against Pittsburgh is declined.
Yes, interference against Mel Blunt, and the Saints turn it down. Now there's continued discussion down on the field. It was defensive pass interference.
Interference foul, 47, accepted. First down.
Well, they say now that it is the same call, except if the Saints accept it, which makes a little more sense, and it gives them a first down at their own 39-yard line. So Mel Blount was caught trying to slow down the receiver in some fashion, and the Saints with another first down at their 39.
It's an interesting call because he was out there all alone. Must have been another receiver. Not the man who took the pass, because he was all alone on the swing to the left side. Manning looks at a stacked defense up front. They're trying to get to him. He's back there. He fires the pass, and there's his man pulling it in, coming to the near side of the field. Ike Harris takes it at the Pittsburgh 38. Down and out to the sideline, outside of Ron Johnson and Donnie Shell. And Harris pulls it in at the Pittsburgh 38 for another first down.
And Archie Manning is hot. He's 8 for 10. He's thrown one interception. And the Saints that time finding the seam of the zone. The receiver getting in behind Johnson and in front of Donnie Shell. And the Saints have shown here today that no, sir, you can't take them lightly. They've won 5 games, which is as many as they've ever won in their history.
Harris has caught 3 passes today. First down 10. Manning flips the ball off to Strawn, running to the left, crosses the line of scrimmage and goes inside the 35 to the 34. Jack Lambert makes the tackle at the 34-yard line. The New Orleans Saints are leading 7-3. We have the 2-minute warning timeout on the field. We'll be right back.
Gotta meet the morning train. Gotta rush to catch my plane. Gotta stop this practice off, but first I've gotta stop at golf. People are trying to beat up more than a million a day. Keep their lives moving on by making a stop along the way. Let's go, let's stop. That keeps America going.
Now we've got a brand new reason for you to stop at Gulf. New Gulf Pride Multi-G. A motor oil so good you change it only once a year or after 15,000 miles, whichever comes first. This remarkable motor oil has been tested in nearly 1 million miles of actual driving. The results show Gulf Pride Multi-G protects your engine for 15,000 miles. And for most car owners, that's a year or more. Save yourself time, money, and inconvenience. Change to new Gulf Pride Multi-G, the once-a-year oil change from Gulf.
Well, the New Orleans Saints, who came into this ball game 5-4 and very much in contention for a playoff spot, a wild card berth, are taking it to the Steelers. They now have 2nd down and 6 at the Steelers' 34-yard line. The Steelers are going to have to get more pressure on Archie Manning somehow. They tried a blitz and got burned at one point in the Saints scoring drive. But they've got to figure out some way to get to that guy.
2nd down for the Saints. Long 5 yards to go at the 34-yard line. Man in the slot, right, goes in motion to the left. That's Ike Harris, and the handoff goes to Strawn, running to the left, turns the corner, and then runs into the arms of Mel Blount and goes down at the 33-yard line. Sweeping left, turning the corner. Blount was there and waiting at the 33-yard line. So they're looking at 3rd down and about 4 yards to go. And the Saints line up very quickly. Clock is turned down to 1:36. Saints in Steeler territory. Archie Manning goes into his cadence. Manning drops back. Manning is deep, drills it down the middle. It's caught at the 22-yard line. Brilliantly thrown pass, and the tight end, Henry Childs, hooked and came back a little on it. Taves and Lambert brought him down. Mark it at the 22-yard line. First down 10.
And Manning has been successful throwing down the middle on those short ones, those medium-range passes, I should say. And he's also been successful throwing to the right side now and then, which gives you the idea that he may continue to work on Ron Johnson, who thus far has had a heck of a rookie year, but today may be a Manning target. Let's pause now for station identification.
WVAM FM Altoona, Country FM 100, your exclusive Steeler football station.
All right, the Saints with the first down at the Steelers' 23-yard line, and they have 2 timeouts remaining. We've got 1 minute and 20 seconds left in this first half. And timeout is still in effect down on the field. And the Steelers' defense, I might point out, has had to play a lot of football in the first half, so they better have some gas left in the second.
This reminder for those of you listening to WTAE in Pittsburgh, we invite you to stay with us after the game for Steelers Hotline. We open up the phone lines for you to call in and talk Steelers. Myron and I will be in the Steeler offices with Bob Koppler at the studios. We would like you to join us for Steelers Hotline right after this game. New Orleans with a 1st and 10 at the Steeler 22-yard line with 1 minute 20 remaining to play in the first half. New Orleans leading 7-3 out of the I formation. Manning hands it off, and beautifully Galbraith comes through there on a draw and comes down over the 15 and onto the 13-yard line. Donnie Shell made the tackle. It's going to be a yard short of a first down, a 9-yard gain on a handoff to Galbraith. They line up quickly again. Clock down to 55 seconds. Second down 1. And again it's Galbraith over the left side, cutting back to the right and going to the 10-yard line. He has a first down. That will be the 14th first down as L.C. Greenwood made the tackle. The ball is at the 10-yard lines, and New Orleans stops the clock with a timeout call.
And the Saints are hammering that Steeler front line today, no question about it. They have the 2 big backs who were their first and second choices in the draft a couple of years ago. That would be, of course, Muncie, who was drafted number 1, and Galbraith number 2. And those are big punishing backs. And that time, Galbraith going swinging to the left a little and cutting back against the green and easily getting the first down, moving down to the Steelers' 10-yard line. They've got 49 seconds remaining. They still have another timeout, so the Saints have plenty of time to get that football in there. And if they were to go up on the Steelers 14-3 at halftime, as J.D. Fogarty mentioned to us during a timeout a few moments ago, wow, the Steelers would have some kind of an assignment coming back. They've been able to move the ball today, the Steelers, but they simply haven't had the ball that often to pile up some points. And of course, it was a John Stallworth fumble that set this drive in motion. So some bad breaks have given the Saints the wherewithal to put points on the board, and they did it once, and now they may be about to do it again. They look unstoppable on this drive.
Dennis Winston has entered the lineup after a long conference. Lambert was on the sideline talking with George Perlis. Banaszak comes out, an extra linebacker at the 10-yard line. First down 10. Fake by Manning, flips it to Muncie, running to the right, and Muncie is brought down on a cross-body block at the 11-yard line by Jack Ham. Jack Ham threw a cross-body block on Chuck Muncie, running to the right, and brought him down right along the 10-yard line. And the clock turns again. They're down to 28 seconds. New Orleans wide in both directions, and Manning calling the signals. Here's Manning dropping back and firing one toward the end zone, and it is broken up by Mel Blunt. Going for Ike Harris. Laid it over there right on the money. And Blunt went up in the air and broke it up with 16 seconds remaining.
It was an alley-oop pass that the Saints are fond of, where Manning just lobs it high in the air, and Ike Harris, who was a rangy 6'3", tries to out-jump his man. I would have thought they might have tried it against Ron Johnson on the other side, because Johnson is short and Blunt is a big, rangy guy who, just like Harris, is 6'3", and Blunt, he got his hand in there in the nick of time. It was almost successful.
Archie didn't see was Henry Childs, the tight end, who was wide open on the play. Head-to-head coverage for the wideout. 16 seconds. Clock starts on the snap. Manning lobs one in there again, and it is no good. Wes Chandler went up in the air over Ron Johnson, the Steeler rookie, defensive back. A penalty marker is down on the play. An offside call against the Steelers. An offside call against the Steelers will take the ball to the 5-yard line and give them the third down play over again, now with 12 seconds showing. I believe that's 12. It is 12 on that clock.
Well, it hurts.
Encroachment foul, number 75, defense, third down.
Joe Green offside. Joe Green called for encroachment, so the Saints have one more chance to get the touchdown. If they don't get it here, they'll probably take the field goal. I'm quite sure they would.
Saints very wide both ways. Manning from the 5-yard line. Back, looking, now running. Ball knocked loose. Down on the curve. He was hit. He fumbled it, recovered for the Steelers. Hit by Joe Green. Banaszak was in there. Lambert was in there. Green hit him. Bobbled the ball loose, and Green recovered it. 4 seconds remaining to play in the first half. And the Steeler defense giving Archie Manning fits as he could find no one to throw to. And then he was hit, and the ball bobbled up in the air. Green recovered.
Yes, Ham was at him, and then Taves was at him, or maybe it was vice versa. In fact, it was. It was Taves first, and then Ham, who I do believe knocked the ball loose. Joe Green got it. The Steelers escaped from their predicament. 4 seconds left.
First down 10. Bradshaw will go down on the turf of the ball, and time will run out. So we're at the end of the first half of the ball game with the score: New Orleans 7, Pittsburgh 3. Myron, go comments on the first half in a moment.
Well, it turns out here at halftime at Three Rivers Stadium, and the Steelers trailing the Saints 7-3. It turns out that Joe Green's offside infraction, his encroachment on a third down play in the closing seconds of the first half, was a lucky break for the Steelers. It happened on a play where Manning had thrown incomplete into the end zone. Surely the Saints would have then, had Joe not been offsides, they would have then tried the field goal and almost surely would have made it, because even though they've had a lot of trouble kicking field goals this year, they were within easy chip shot range. But at any rate, given another down, the Saints still had third down. They decided, of course, to try for that touchdown from 5 yards out. And Archie Manning took a short drop back and finally found himself surrounded by Steelers. They had not been putting much heat on Archie in the first half, but this time they did. Taves was coming from Archie's left and Ham from Archie's right, and Ham knocked the ball loose, and Joe Green, who had been a goat just a play ago, Joe Green fell on it, got up, and delirious with joy, spiked the football, and it took the Steelers out of a situation where the Saints seemed almost certain to come away with at least 3 points. The story of the first half from the Saints side has to be that they have gotten out on top of the Steelers, mostly because Archie Manning has been hitting those passes. Actually, the Saints with the two big backs have gained very little yardage on the ground. Chuck Muncie has only gained 13 yards in 4 carries, according to our unofficial statistics. And Tony Galbraith, the big fullback, has gained only 19 yards on 7 carries. So you can see that they have not seriously hurt the Steelers on the ground. But Manning has kept the Steelers with their backs to the wall, throwing to Ike Harris one time, then to Childs, Henry Childs, or to whomever. So that has been the pattern of the first half, with the Saints largely possessing the football. Bob Koppler is standing by with all the scores from around the league on the halftime scoreboard in just a minute.
Eastern Airlines has the right time for you. Eastern gives you the only non-stops to Orlando, home of Walt Disney World Vacation Kingdom. We also have non-stop service every day to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Tampa, St. Petersburg. And remember, with Eastern Super Savers, you can't go for a lower airfare. For reservations and fare requirements, call your travel agent or Eastern.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Bob Kompler with highlights of the first half and news of the National Football League. This afternoon's game between the Steelers and the Saints coming to you from Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, where New Orleans is leading the Steelers 7-3 at the half. In the second period, New England leading Buffalo 7-3. Philadelphia has a 7-3 lead over Green Bay in the second period. Seattle 7, Chicago nothing in the second period. Atlanta has a 7-3 lead over San Francisco in the second period. Detroit and Minnesota are scoreless, that game in the second period. And St. Louis has gone ahead of the New York Giants 14-0 in the second period. This is Bob Kompler. We're at halftime of the Steelers-Saints game with a score. New Orleans 7, Pittsburgh 3. I'll be right back.
For all we've shared, the good times and the laughter, after all that we've been through, no other beer will do. But I'm Decker. We go so well together, me and you. And I'm Decker.
No other beer uses more costly ingredients than Ondecker. The choicest barley and the richest imported hops give Ondecker its distinctive smooth taste. Ondecker, the most expensive taste in beer.
After all that we've been through, no other beer will do. But I'm Decker. I'm Decker.
From Pabst Brewing Company. The New Orleans Saints came marching into Three River Stadium this afternoon to play football, and they're doing a pretty good job of it against Pittsburgh, leading the Steelers 7-3. Jack Flemming describes New Orleans' touchdown in the second period.
Manning rolling to the right, throwing into the end zone, caught for a touchdown. Rich Monty from Penn State beating Ron Johnson, coming down and across from the far side to the near side in the end zone, and Monty came up with the ball and held it triumphantly in the air, and the Saints are on the board with the first touchdown of the ball game.
The Steelers' only 3 points came on a 27-yard field goal by Roy Girella early in the first period. Franco Harris made history in the National Football League in the first period by getting his 7,000th yard rushing. There's a key game down in Miami this afternoon where the Dolphins host the world champion Dallas Cowboys.
Getting ready for the start of the second half kickoff at Three Rivers Stadium. Myron Cope and Jack Flemming bringing you the broadcast of the game that finds the Saints leading the Steelers 7-3. A quick look at the first half statistics. The Saints in with 14 first downs to the Steelers 6 with 193 yards to the Steelers 125. A telling statistic that describes the pattern of the first half is that the Saints ran 35 plays and the Steelers ran only 21. We'll have the second half kickoff in a minute.
The Foodland folks hope all you Steeler fans are enjoying the game. Each week, Foodland teams up with exciting specials, not only on the food items you buy, but also on household items. Like this coming week, high-dry paper towels, 3 rolls of 103 sheets for just $1. And for quick but nutritious meals and snacks, Banquet frozen fried chicken, a 2-pound package, only $1.99. That's Foodland, giving you great bargains on your household needs and for your family meals. Because Foodland knows what it is to feed a family.
You get a fresh start every morning when you start the Drake's flavor twist bread. Because the Drake's right here in Pittsburgh, and they make it while you're still in bed. It's Christopher flavor, that's the best you know, and the young side looking really save you so. You get a fresh start every morning when you start with Drake's flavor twist bread.
A further look at the first half statistics. Archie Manning quarterbacking the Saints and coming into this game leading the National Football Conference. He was 9 for 12 for 141 yards in the first half. He threw 1 interception. and was sacked once. Terry Bradshaw, he led the entire National Football League in quarterbacking coming into this game. He was 5 for 6 in the first half, no interceptions, no sacks. His 5 passes good for 63 yards. He did not have a whole lot of opportunity. The Steeler offense has been able to move the football today, but they haven't had it enough because the Steeler defense has not been able to stop the long drives that eat up the clock that the Saints were able to put together. John Stallworth in with a couple of catches, and Franco Harris 2 catches. Rocky Bleier 1 for the Steelers in the first half. Ike Harris caught 3 passes for 57 yards for the Saints. He was their most favored receiver. So the statistics heavily show the Saints out in front, but they lead only 7-3 on the board. And here's Jack Flemming with the second half kickoff.
Steve Mickemeyer kicking off for New Orleans, right to left. Sends it deep. Anderson along the 5, out over the 10 to the 15, the 20, swings to his left, trying to get outside, slips and goes down, and is covered at the 23. Took a late hit, coincidentally. The initial hit by Eric Felton at the 23-yard line. So Larry Anderson was determined to get outside to the left, but as he made a sharp cut, he lost his footing. Now the crowd coming alive as the Steelers have possession here at the start of the second half, trailing 7-3. First down 10. John Stallworth wide right. Make that Lynn Swan wide right and Stallworth wide left. Give to Bleier. Bleier runs into a crowd at the line of scrimmage trying to get off the left side, and there's nowhere to go. So Rocky Bleier ran into a stone wall. Pat Hughes and Joe Fetterspiel anchored the defensive play. Alois Grooms, Alex Price, Derlin Moore, and Don Reese up front. Merlo, Fetterspiel, and Hughes are the linebackers. Chapman and Spencer on the corners, Brown and Myers are the safeties, and Reese is out, and Campbell, the second-year man from Maryland, is back at defensive right end. Well, they get some odd defensive alignments. And a tackle playing off the line of scrimmage in this flex that time. Flip out to the right side to Franco. He's up over the 25, the 30, and goes to the 33-yard line. Clarence Chapman and Pat Hughes make the tackle. First down, Pittsburgh.
Here, that big tackle, Mike Fultz on the outside, on the right side of the Saints line, as you pointed out, frequently is about a yard off the line, Jack. Mike Webster that time giving Franco a good block. Franco in now with 3 catches in this ball game.
First down, 10 yards to go. Steelers at their own 34. Give to Franco, running to the left. Breaks a clothesline tackle and then goes to the 39-yard line. Maurice Spencer brought him down. Hughes was over there firing in. And Franco slipped away, picks up 5 yards on the carry, second down 5.
Yeah, Joe Fetterspiel, the middle linebacker, as you indicated, tried to get him high, but he only got was a little piece of the shirt, and Franco kept going to make some decent yardage.
Kolb, Davis, Webster, Mullins, and Pinney, the interior line for the Steelers. Randy Grossman, the tight end, in strong right formation. Bleier scampers over the right side, pulls his way to the 45, bites on to the 48, and goes down near the 49-yard line. Merlo and Hughes finally stop the rock, and the man from the Golden Dome takes the ball to the 48.5-yard line.
And on that play, they have Franco leaning into the middle and teaming up with the lineman to block the big defensive tackle, Elex Price, taking him out of there, and then Rocky shooting through the hole.
Steelers are operating left to right on offense. Bradshaw is the quarterback. He has Bleier and Harrison the backfield. And the give is to Bleier, and he stopped. Bleier running that time a little bit to the right, gets to the 50-yard line, and Fetterspiel was there. 6'2", 230, 7-year veteran from Kentucky. Pillar of strength and a defense that is coming just as sure as good football teams develop. This one has been developing over the season. Dick Nolan has fired the imagination of these players. They believe in him. Danny Abramowitz, talking to him at halftime, the former Saint, now a broadcaster, said they really believe in Nolan. Bradshaw back, he's going deep. Swan flagged out on the play. Swan trying to catch the ball inside the 10, Broken up by Clarence Chapman. The penalty marker was down well behind Swan. Could be interference on another potential receiver, and we'll get the initial indication on what happened. An interference call against the New Orleans Saints, and that is going to help. Stallworth was the man interfered with.
And Bradshaw that time getting outstanding protection against a four-man rush. Here's the call from Mark Breitbart, the referee.
Illegal contact foul, number 29, defense, first down.
So they call it against Maurice Spencer, cornerback Maurice Spencer, illegal contact. The Steelers at the 44-yard line of the Saints with a first down.
First down, 10. Steelers trot back up to the line of scrimmage. Beautiful day at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, but the score is New Orleans 7, the Steelers 3. And to give to Harrison, he slashes just to the left side, found the opening. Takes the ball to the 40-yard line, a pickup of 4 yards with Joe Campbell making the tackle for the New Orleans Saints. Campbell goes 6'6", 254, a lot of size.
You betcha. And, of course, on that penalty, what you have is not the downfield interference, else the ball would be down there, but you have the illegal chuck in the 5-yard zone, I suppose.
Joe Campbell was a first-team All-American in 1976. Played in the Cotton, Peach, Hula, Liberty, and Japan Bowl games. Here's Bradshaw back rolling a little to his right. Now flipping it short down to Grossman at the 40. He's to the 35. And Grossman is gang tackled at the 33. Dumped by Pat Hughes at the bottom of the play. And Randy Grossman was open under the coverage. And they hit Grossman. Now that is the 8th pass try, the 7th completed, and the first catch this afternoon by Randy Grossman.
And what you had there was a little screen to Grossman, but the trouble was that Bradshaw was not finding quick enough pressure from those linemen coming in. He had to wait for them so that the screen could open up, and he finally was able to let it go, and the Steelers pick up a first down on the play very nicely down at the 34-yard line of the Saints.
7-3 at halftime here. New England 7, Buffalo 3, Atlanta 7, San Francisco 3, Philadelphia 7, Green Bay 3. All at halftime. That titillated the imagination of Lou Kreck, and he pointed it out to me. Strong right formation. Here's Bradshaw coming to the sideline area to Swan and pin it out of his arm as he was hit hard. Took a good lick from Ray Brown and Clarence Chapman, and they knocked the ball loose from the youngster from Southern California at the 23-yard line.
But I think Swan would tell you he should have had it. He pounded the turf, and he should have had it. It hurts. Bradshaw now is 8 for 10. He's working up some fancy stats here. But Swan perhaps tried to get going with that football. Perhaps it was because he was hit. But in any event, it was there, and he should have hung on. He usually catches those.
Second down and 10 yards to go. Again, the Saints give you the flex look. And the handoff is to Blyer going over the right side of the line. Crosses, goes down to the 30 and on to the 28-yard line. Ray Brown and Tom Myers, the safeties, coming up to make the play on Rocky Blyer. And will spot the ball at the New Orleans 28-yard line. Gain of 6 yards, third down, 4 yards to go for the Steelers, trailing 7-3 at the New Orleans 28.
And trapping the big tackle, Elex Prices that Rocky sails through a nice opening.
Swan wide right. Stallworth to the left. And Bradshaw is back. There's Blyer, and he underthrows him. Blyer came out of there and was open at the 24-yard line. Just enough yardage for the first down. Tom Myers came over to cover a little bit late. We'll be back after this pause on the Steelers Football Network.
Nothing. You're listening to Steeler Football 78 on WVAM-FM, Altoona, Country FM 100.
Three linebackers blitzing on that play. Good coverage. Blyer was the open man, but Bradshaw hurried it too much and underthrew him. They're going to go for it on fourth down, 4th and 4. Slot right formation. Stallworth in the slot. Bradshaw backs up. Now he fires down to Swan. Swan makes a great catch to 13 over the 10 and dives down to the 6-yard line. Went up over Clarence Chapman in the air and made an impossible catch. Swan pulled it in. the impossible catch, and gallops over the 10 and down to the New Orleans 6-yard line. A fantastic catch on a down-and-in pattern by Lynn Swann.
And you know, that play is an example of how Bradshaw can step back there and almost effortlessly, with a snap of his wrist, flip that little pass over the middle and let Swann out-leap Chapman and then go down to the 6-yard line. Good throw, good catch.
Eric Felton replaces Clarence Chapman in the secondary for New Orleans. Here's Bradshaw rolling to the right. Fires into the end zone. It's tipped, and Swann catches it. A New Orleans Saint tipped the ball upfield. That was Eric Felton, and it went into the arms of Lynn Swann. And Swann caught it for the touchdown. Let's recap. Was it Felton who tipped it? And it had enough power on it as he tipped it, we'll say, at about the 5-yard line, and it continued its trajectory on a slight arc into the arms of Swann, who was covered but made a fine catch. So the Steelers take a 9-7 lead, and Girella will go for the point after with Colquitt holding. They aim at the goalpost to our right. The ball is down. Girella kicks. It's up there, and it is good. The Steelers lead the ball game 10-7. We'll be right back.
You'll find innovation at the Imagination Station.
Your Chrysler Plymouth dealer is the Imagination Station, where you'll find innovative and imaginative new cars from 1979, like Plymouth Horizon. Horizon is the first American car its size with front-wheel drive. That means Horizon will give you solid handling and stability on all kinds of roads in all kinds of weather. But Horizon not only gets you there, it gets you there economically. EPA estimates rate Horizon with manual transmission at a remarkable 38 miles per gallon highway, 25 cities. Of course, your actual mileage may differ. If you want to go in comfort and confidence, put Plymouth Imagination to work for you with a 1979 Plymouth Horizon.
Origination, innovation, recreation.
At the Imagination Station.
Imagination.
See your Steelerland Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
So here's how the touchdown pass went. Bradshaw lobbed it over the head of an on-rushing New Orleans lineman, but downfield, a linebacker, I believe it was, managed to leap up and get a finger on the football and deflect it, but it continued on its flight, and Lynn Swann, surrounded by cornerback Eric Felton and strong safety Ray Brown, went up in the air and outfought them, came down with his second consecutive sweet catch after a few moments earlier, blowing an easy one. So Swann with a 22-yard catch, then a 6-yard touchdown catch.
Girella kicks off left to right, high, rather long. Chandler under it at the goal line, over the 5, the 10, the 15. Cuts to the right to the 20 and is out of bounds on the far side of the field at the 23.5-yard line. Chandler chased to the sideline by Larry Anderson. Goes out of bounds. Randy Rudershan over there on the play, too. And now the New Orleans Saints take over the football, and the crowd comes alive. The 10th consecutive game in which Bradshaw's thrown a touchdown pass, and it goes to Lynn Swann, who leads the team in receiving. His 45th catch of the season, his 8th touchdown reception of the campaign. The New Orleans Saints, who are tough, moving right to left. They'll run out of the I formation. Muncie at the top of the I. Manning is the quarterback. Pitch back to Muncie, running to the left. Galbraith is the blocker. He swings around the corner, flag down as he crosses the 25 and goes out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Mel Blunt and Donnie Shell made the defensive play, but there is a call out on the field. It's a holding call against the New Orleans Saints, and that will cost the Saints 10 yards. So they'll go back to the 23-yard line where it was 1st and 10, and they'll mark it off back to the 13 where it will be 1st down and 20 yards to go, Myron.
So in the opening 7 minutes of this third quarter, the Steelers have dominated the action. They drove from their own 23 for the touchdown, and now the Saints trying to work their way upfield, get a bad break right off the bat. Let's see what the call is, who it is against.
I think Galbraith was holding. He was the guy blocking out in front of him. Be interesting to see.
Well, he was blocking Donnie Shell. That may have been the case. Well, the man has the call wrong. He says 39, and there is no 39 on the Saints. But, yes, it's probably 32, or rather, is it 34? Galbraith wears 34. So let's settle for Galbraith holding shell.
Okay.
You know, it's easy for those guys to get a number loused up. You know, those shirts are a blur down there.
First down at 20 yards to go at the 13-yard line. Manning has them in the I formation with wideouts both ways. Manning, deep handoff, and Muncie is bailed. Muncie took the handoff, and the Steeler defense was there to meet him. Crunch, and Chuck Muncie went down. Caves, Greenwood, and Green, all there in a combined effort at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Second down, 20 yards to go.
Boy, I'll tell you, L.C. Greenwood landed on him like a jet making a landing. He was stretched straight out in the air, sailing horizontally. He looked like he was taking up about 12 feet of air, and he landed on that guy.
Lauren Taves out, and Tony Dungy in as an extra defensive back. On second down, 20. White set in the backfield. They want to give Manning maximum protection. And he goes back. And he drills a long one downfield going for the tight end, and it's broken up beautifully by Dungy as they went to Henry Childs, straight down the middle at the 41-yard line. And Dungy, the second-year man, came up and broke it up beautifully, then grabbed his helmet. He wanted the interception, but he made a fine play as they went deep that time down the middle to the tight end, Henry Childs.
You betcha. Henry was behind two Steeler defenders and looked open here, but here came Dungy, who had been playing deep, and he was playing that interception, and you thought for an instant that he was going to collide and knock Henry Childs into the third row, but he was playing the interception. He couldn't quite hang on to it.
At the 13-yard line, third down, 20 yards to go. New Orleans now trailing 10-7, and Archie Manning trying to light a spark for his offense. Manning calling the signals. He's back deep. Swing pass right side, pulled in by Muncie. Muncie up over the 10, the 15 at the sideline, along the 20, and is brought down at the 25-yard line. Driving down there was Ron Johnson to make the tackle, and Jack Lambert over to add coverage on the play. They bring the ball up to the 25-yard line, where it is fourth down and 8 yards to go. And the Saints will have to give it up. That was the 14th pass. And the 10th one completed this afternoon for New Orleans. And Muncie has 3 catches on the day, 12 on the season. Tom Blanchard standing at his own 10. The punt will carry right to left. Reuter Shannon Bell downfield. And Blanchard gets away a booming, long spiraling kick, and T-Bell goes back to take it at the 16-yard line. Here he comes forward over the 20. They've got him, and they fire him down at the 26-yard line. Rich Maudie made the tackle on T-Bell, who had to go back and take it over the shoulder. A long punt, 58 yards measured from the line of scrimmage. Steelers football continues after this timeout.
Third quarter, the Steelers leading the Saints 10-7. They had driven 77 yards on their last possession for a touchdown. Now they stand 76 yards, or make that 74 yards away from the New Orleans goal line as they put the ball in play at their own 26-yard line on a gorgeous springtime-like day at Three Rivers Stadium. It's just wonderful out here. A shirt-sleeved crowd.
Steelers with a 10-7 lead. Come over the football at their own 26-yard line. First down, 10. Swan and Stallworth are wide. Bradshaw stops short in the pocket. Now chased out of the pocket. On the run. Fires it down the near side. Going for Swan, and it's intercepted. Near the 50 by Chapman. He gives ground back into his own territory, and Swan makes the tackle. Back near the 46-yard line. Derlin Moore and Clarence Chapman involved. Moore on the rush, chasing Bradshaw out of the pocket. Bradshaw throwing on the run and underthrowing it. Chapman had the position on it and giving ground as he went toward his own goal line, and Swan brought him down near the 46-yard line.
Yes, Derlin Moore landed on Bradshaw, but just after he let the ball go, I don't think that Moore was putting all that much pressure on him to cause him to throw the ball badly, but he threw it badly he did, and we'll be right back.
Well, I'm leaving now, don't need no reservation, got no hesitation, got the ribbon on my mind. I'm gonna satisfy all those other places, with for friendly faces, got the ribbon on my mind.
forward to.
Bradshaw tried to take the Saints by surprise with the long pass on first down. It didn't work. New Orleans in good field position at their 46 and trailing by only 3.
First down 10 out of the I formation. Slot man from the left in motion to the right. Ike Harris. Manning. Play action fake. Rolling right. Fires downfield. Completes it to Childs, the tight end at the 38. And he's over the 35 to the 34-yard line. Brought down by Donnie Shell. Henry Childs, the receiver, the tight end. New Orleans getting its 15th first down, the first one of this half. Manning throwing his 15th pass, completing his 11th, and Childs, the receiver. So I show Childs with his third catch of the afternoon, his 30th of the season. Galbraith, the leading receiver, has not caught one as yet. First down 10 at the Steelers' 34-yard line. That play covered 20 yards. Slot man in deep motion. Fake to him by Manning. Now Manning throws to the near side and incomplete. Trying to lay it down along the sideline to Muncie. That high lob pass overthrew it. It was out of bounds. Muncie didn't have a prayer to catch it. Lauren Taves giving coverage to Chuck Muncie. The only way he could catch that was run over into the bench area and catch it in the midst of a TV camera and 4 still cameramen.
Well, I'll tell you, Manning is throwing from a lot of play action. On a 20-yarder to Henry Childs, he had Ike Harris in motion from left to right. Then he faked to the running back. Then he hit the tight end. On this play, he faked to a couple of guys before he threw that pass down the sideline. So he's using a lot of finesse in there.
It is second down 10. New Orleans with the football at the Steelers' 34-yard line. Wideouts both ways. Now Manning lays it out here again, and it is incomplete. He was going for Childs, covered by Donnie Shell at the 13-yard line. Childs can't believe it. He thought he was interfered with.
Well, the Steelers had to blitz on that time, and they were picking it up pretty well where the New Orleans offensive lineman and the back that Manning held in, but I think Manning rushed it just a little. He saw that blitz coming, and he popped the ball up high in the air real quickly, and there was a battle downfield for it, and then fell incomplete. So the Saints facing third down and 10 at the Steelers' 34-yard line.
New Orleans coaching staff yelling at one of the officials on the far side of the field. They're not inviting him to Bourbon Street. They are unhappy. Third down 10 at the 34. Tinker Owens to the right, Ike Harris to the left. Running backs, Muncie and Galbraith. Manning is back. Now Manning fires deep. This one may be intercepted. Dungy knocked away from him by Mel Blunt. Dungy had it zeroed in, and Blunt didn't see him. Blunt was backing up. And he tried to make the catch, and it was incomplete. But Tony had it zeroed in, but Mel was backing up and didn't see him.
Exactly. Tony was going into the corner of the end zone very easily, like a left fielder moving down the foul line to settle under a nice high pop, but all of a sudden, here came Blunt trying for the interception himself and not getting it.
So he was going for Henry Childs, and the pass was way off its mark. Steve Nickemeyer will try a 51-yard field goal from the 41-yard line. Nickemeyer will be kicking right down the middle. It's long and high, but no good off to the side. Nickemeyer misses a 51-yard attempt, so the Steelers get the ball back at the previous spot, the 34-yard line. Good field position, first down 10.
So the Steeler defense, which had been taking pretty much of a pounding in the first half and giving ground, particularly to Archie Manning's throwing, stiffened on this drive because, as you'll recall, the Saints had started in good field position after Chapman's interception at their own 46-yard line, but the Steeler defense, after giving up a quick 20-yard pass, then gave the Saints absolutely nothing. A reminder for those of you listening to WTAE in Pittsburgh, be sure to stay with us after the game for Steelers Hotline. This year, after every home game, we'll open the phone lines for you to call in and talk Steelers. Jack Flemming and I will be in the Steeler offices with Bob Koppler back at the studio. Join us for our all-new Steelers Hotline right after this game. Golly, Tony Dungy twice in this third period has narrowly missed an interception. Just a few minutes ago, he was playing center field, creeping up on Henry Childs, who looked to be under an easy catch. And Tony got his hands on the ball flying past Childs, but wasn't able to hold it. And this time, Mel Blunt on that third down pass into the corner took an interception away from Tony, unknowingly, as Jack said, because Blunt had his back to the play. But at any rate, and maybe, who knows, maybe Tony said, I got it, and Blunt didn't hear him. But anyhow, Tony has come close twice now without making the interception. Today's attendance is 48,526, little less than 2,000 no-shows, which is normal. The Steelers now put the ball in play at their own 34-yard line. We've got 5:56 remaining in the third period. Steelers lead 10-7.
First down 10 at the 34-yard line. Bradshaw gives the ball to Blyer, and Blyer plows up the middle over the 35, has the 36, gains about 2 yards on the carry. Joe Campbell at the bottom of the play for the New Orleans Saints. Elois Grooms, Alex Price, Derlin Moore, Joe Campbell up front, Jim Merlo, Joe Fetterspiel, and Pat Hughes are the linebackers. Clarence Chapman on the left corner, Maurice Spencer on the right corner, Ray Brown and Tom Myers are the safeties. The Saints looking at a slot right formation. Bradshaw's back, drills one to the near side, caught by Swan at the 49, and he's pushed out of bounds by Clarence Chapman. They're going after Chapman today, sometimes with success and sometimes with no success. Mark that one out at the 48-yard line, where it is first down 10.
All Chapman had to do was give Swan a little push and have him out of bounds, but he gave him a big, strong hit. And why not? You know, if the guy's going to catch the pass on you, let him feel something. And Chapman, let Swan feel something.
Swan has caught 3 in a row now, his 44th, 45th, and 46th of the season. One of those a touchdown catch. The give to Franco with Mullins blocking. Franco running to the left, makes his move. He's over the 50 and to the far side out of bounds at the New Orleans 45-yard line. Workman-like job by Moon Mullins pulling and blocking for Franco Harris. A 7-yard gain on the play to the far side of the field before Maurice Spencer, the cornerback, forces him out of bounds. It is second down and 3 yards to go.
You betcha. It was a big, strong block by Moon on Joe Fetterspiel, the linebacker. And then farther downfield, Johnny Stallworth giving him a nice block, too. So it was a good run, a well-put-together play.
Colt, Davis, Webster, Mullins, and Finney, the interior line. Grossman is the tight end, and a strong right formation. Wideouts both ways for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bradshaw calling the signals. Harrison Blyer in the backfield, and Bradshaw takes, gives to Franco, hits into the middle, breaks one tackle, spins forward. He may not have the first down, but he gets 2.5 yards out of the play. Pat Hughes, the linebacker, plugged the gap and brought him down around the 42, maybe the 42.5-yard line. They have marked the ball down, and the official calls time, and they will bring the sticks in for the far side of the field. Next Sunday afternoon, next Sunday evening, it will be late. The Steelers and the Rams from Los Angeles. We'll be there live, fighting what they call the jet gap. It is short of a first down.
Franco now in with 46 yards on 12 carries, and Chuck Noll was telling me yesterday, he said, you know, Franco really hasn't been anything like 100% for most of this season. He got a Charlie horse early in the season, and it has stayed right with him. It's not a serious injury, but he says you have not been watching a Franco who is physically at his best.
When you get to L.A., Myron, on Saturday night, I want you to go to bed early because you're 3 hours ahead of yourself or behind yourself. 2 tight ends, short yardage formation. Harris pulls through the middle, over the 40, and goes down to the 37-yard line. Tom Myers made the stop as Harris went for the first down and got a little more down to the 37-yard line. The Steelers in now with 13 first downs. And Pittsburgh at the New Orleans 37.
Not to interrupt this drive, but I may not be in New Orleans Saturday night, or rather in L.A. I expect I'll be in Vegas, and you wouldn't want me to go to bed early in Vegas, would you? Huh?
The game's not in Vegas.
It's the game the next day. I can be in Vegas.
Bradshaw is back deep. He's pointing. Now he's throwing, and coming back, Blyer makes a diving catch at the 26-yard line. It is good. Blyer making a diving comeback catch at the 26-yard line at grass level. Tom Myers covered him. It is a first down at the 14, or rather at the 26-yard line, the 14th first down. Bradshaw now 11 of 15, and Blyer in with his second catch of the afternoon. First down, 10 yards to go at the 26-yard line. Bradshaw drops back again. Now, throwing downfield to the 11-yard line. The ball is pulled in by Randy Grossman, the tight end, covered by Ray Brown, and Grossman makes a great catch as Bradshaw appeared to throw it a little bit low. And possibly that's his way of protecting the football, because Grossman went down near the turf and made the catch at the 11, another first down.
Holy cow, 2 catches in a row that were really nifty. Shoestring jobs by Rocky and Grossman. Bradshaw now 12 for 16.
Randy Grossman has his second catch of the afternoon, his 17th of the season. He's just gone past Benny Cunningham in receptions. Cunningham with 16. Bradshaw at the 11-yard line gives it to Blyer, and Blyer hits through the middle, spins, and goes down to the 6-yard line. Rocky Blyer, stopped by Joe Fettersfield and Tom Myers, takes the ball down to the Saints 6-yard line. A gain of 5 yards, second down and 5 to go, with 2:30 to play in the third quarter. Steelers leading 10-7, and they're at the Saints 6. They could get a first down at the 1. Swan goes wide to the right, the near side. Stallworth is in the slot. Bradshaw rolling right. Bradshaw throwing into the end zone is blocked. Reaching up and knocking it down, Joe Fettersfield, the middle linebacker. John Stallworth was the intended receiver. Stallworth picks himself up off the turf. It will be third down and 5 for a first down, third and 6 for a touchdown, and Sid Thornton comes on the field.
Bradshaw had an army of blockers moseying along in front of him, the play developing in a kind of slow-motion fashion to the right. If only the Steelers would have had a receiver open over the middle so that Bradshaw could have gone back the other way, it would have been a cinch.
Cheering in the background is for the pride of Notre Dame, Rocky Blyer. Third down 5. Bradshaw to Harris. Harris hitting into the middle, cutting back a little to the right. He may have the 3-yard line. Derlin Moore leading a gang of New Orleans tacklers. Somebody tried to get Franco around the shoulders, couldn't do it. Fettersfield in at the bottom of the play, and Roy Girella and the kicking unit out on the field. They mark it at the 4-yard line. The crowd reacting in a negative fashion, but at this point, the 3 would look very good. That gets you out of immediate field goal range. Craig Colquitt is dealing at the 11-yard line. 21-yard attempt by Roy Girella. Scored earlier for the Steelers. Here's the ball down, and the kick by Girella is up there high and smooth and good. A 21-yard field goal by Roy Girella. And the Steelers lead 13-7.
Well, I don't know. I'm normally the conservative type in football. But in that instance, I don't know. I'm thinking I'm remembering a game in Cleveland this season when Heck Chasnow was going for it on 4th and 1 at his own 40-yard line, and about 15 yards upfield after he had made that, going for it again. And a field goal there, all right, it gives you a 6-point lead, but the Saints are dangerous. They move that ball in the first half, and they can score a touchdown on you. I don't mean to quibble seriously with that, but I kind of have the feeling that I would have gone for the first down or the touchdown if you happen to get it. But nobody's offering a job to me to be a head coach in the National Football League, so what am I talking about anyhow? All right, New England leads Buffalo in the third period, 14-3. Atlanta out in front of San Francisco at the halftime, 7-3. Philadelphia crippled without running backs last week and with very few this week, nonetheless leading Green Bay, my pick of the week, 10-3 in the third period. Yeah, the Eagles leading, they were favored by 3 were the Eagles, and they're leading by 7, 10-3 in the third period. Oakland and Kansas City scoreless in the second period, and Seattle out in front of the Bears, 14-6 at halftime.
Girella left to right, kicks it off. He's got it high, got it deep, and down to Chandler, a yard deep in the end zone. He'll concede. Chandler kneels with the football, and it comes out to the 20, first down 10, and the penalty marker down somewhere out on the field. Tom Leslie signals the penalty marker down. It was a paper airplane.
don't call him producer director for nothing.
I need more friends like him, you know. Slot left formation. Split backs behind Archie Manning. New Orleans, from its own 20-yard line, sends a man in motion out to the right. Play action fake by Manning. He's chased out of the pocket. Taves can't get to him. Fires downfield. Coming across to take it, Chandler at the 49 in Pittsburgh territory. And is knocked back by Mel Blunt. They say the 48-yard line. Lauren Taves, in pursuit of Archie Manning, was tripped by somebody, but no one picked up on it. First down, New Orleans. And that one covers 32 yards.
All right, Archie coming back dramatically here. Not going to fool around with the football down there, even though he was pretty deep in his own territory at the 20-yard line. He wants to get something going, as he tried to at the very start of the football game.
Chandler getting his first catch of the day, his 9th of the season. Out of the eye, the pitch back goes to Chuck Muncie, right into the left. Makes his cut to the 45. Drags a man with him out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Muncie dragging Mike Wagner with him, and then confronted by Jack Lambert, and down he goes at the 39-yard line, a 9-yard gain. We pause now for station identification.
This is WVAM-FM Altoona, Country FM 100. Now back to Steeler Football 78.
Second down and 1. New Orleans with the ball at the Steeler 39. Greenwood, Green, Banaszak, and White in the front four. Backers pulled up tight. Shell comes up to meet the slot back. Almost head-to-head. And the handoff goes to Galbraith, and Galbraith breaks into the line, makes a right cut, and goes to the first down at the 36-yard line. Jack Ham on the tackle. That is the 17th first down for the New Orleans Saints. They trail 13-7, and again, they're knocking at the door.
I wonder how Jack Ham feels at this point. You know, he's a sinus guy. He has a sinus condition. We've had this air pollution. He might be laboring by now. That's one of our little gems we pass along to you.
They line up to go, and the official blows the whistle, signals the end of the third quarter, where the score is Pittsburgh 13, New Orleans 7.
Well, Jack, those people who watch television and turn down their signs to listen to our broadcast now know that Jack Ham is troubled by sinus, and on a day when inversion sits over Pittsburgh, whatever that is, could now, going into the fourth quarter, be laboring and be a mark for the New Orleans Saints if they knew that he has a sinus condition. But the people who don't turn down their sign don't know that Jack Ham has a sinus condition. Is that the kind of thing we always pass to folks? Huh?
Absolutely.
Those guys on television don't know Jack Ham has a sinus condition.
They don't know that you've been made an honorary member of the American Medical Association. It is first down 10 at the 36-yard line. He might get meaner. That sinus starts kicking up. That could just fire him up a little bit.
Yeah, well, he looked pretty good there at the close of the period. Anyhow, it's the Steelers 13, the Saints 7, but the Saints have the ball down there at the Steelers 36-yard line, and the Steelers have a battle on their hands. They're favored by 10.5 points.
48,526 out here breathing the bad air and enjoying a good football game. Slot right formation for the Saints. They move left to right in the final period. Archie Manning, the quarterback, calls the signals, sends his man in motion out of the slot right to the left. Hands the ball off. That's Muncie with the ball, waiting off the left side, cutting downfield to the 30. Flag goes down. He's at the 29-yard line. Mike Wagner made the tackle. The penalty marker went down against the Saints. You can tell because they're hopping up and down. A holding call against New Orleans. That will cost the Saints 10 yards from the 36 back to the 46, and that helps.
Oh, that's one the Steelers needed because they were giving ground. Let's see who the penalty is against. Well, the referee, Jerry Markbright, is still marking it off. Now we'll get the call.
Holding, number 34, offense, first down.
So Tony Galbraith, the Saints fullback, is the man who was caught holding, and the Saints now with first down at the Steelers' 43-yard line, and they need about 17 for the first down.
They marked that one off in the spot of the foul. That takes it back to the 43 from the 33, rather than from the previous spot. Wideouts both ways. Manning is back deep. Manning fires, and there's his man leaping, can't hold it. Ike Harris went up, had his hands on the ball, and Ron Johnson took his pins out from under him and broke up the pass. A great effort by Harris, a fine defensive play by Johnson. Harris is shaken up, and that, I believe, is the first player to get attention this afternoon.
Yes, we've had an unusual football game in that respect. There have not been any serious injuries, and for a good while in the first half, there was barely a penalty. On that play, the Steelers again had Lauren Taves blitzing, and in the second half, they've been more of a gambling defense, the Steelers have been, than they were earlier in the ball game, but they're still not really getting to Archie Manning. We're going to be right back.
Rich Body of Penn State, second-year man, replaces Ike Harris, who walked off under his own power. Archie Manning on second down 17. Calling the signals. Manning is back deep, and he throws out the near side to Galbraith at the 35, complete. And Galbraith is brought down by Ron Johnson. That's the first pass that Galbraith has caught this afternoon. Body was a wide receiver and tailback at Penn State, used mainly as a blocker, caught only 11 passes in college. Came from East Meadows, New York, and Nassau Community College, down to Joe Paterno's club. New Orleans coming out of the huddle, and the official signaling a timeout for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not exactly sure what that one is for. At any rate, Galbraith, with that catch, goes to 46 on the season. His first one of the day. The Saints are at the Steelers 35, third down and 9, and Steelers football continues after this timeout.
The Steeler defense used a timeout apparently because two linebackers were sent in at the last second from the bench, and there was confusion over what defensive alignment they were to be in.
Dennis Winston is the fourth linebacker for the Steelers, three down lineman for Pittsburgh. Third down and 9. Manning drops back deep. The rush is on. He fires complete down to the tight end. Childs at the 21, crossing over the 20 to 15, breaks the tackle inside the 10, and goes down to the 5-yard line. Childs simply overpowered the tackler, Mike Wagner, and then Lauren Taves caught up with him and brought him down at the 5-yard line. Childs, the tight end, was crossing over, took that pass. That is the 18th first down, the 21st pass thrown, and 14 of them completed for New Orleans. And Childs is the target again.
And again, they catch the Steelers trying to blitz. You can't say the Steelers should have blitzed more today because it's not working when they do.
First down goal to go at the 5. Two tight ends, wing back right. Short yardage formation. Manning hands it off. Galbraith running to the left. He has a blocker, and he goes into the end zone. Out in front of him was Chuck Muncie, clearing the way as he broke around the left flank. And Muncie cleared out the defensive back. And in he went to the end zone for the touchdown from 5 yards out.
They had Lauren Taves, the right linebacker, on the outside of the line, pinned down, flattened, so he just swung outside, and breezed in for the touchdown. The Saints have it tied up, 13-13, and they'll try for the extra point, the go-ahead point.
Tom Blanchard is their holder at the 9-yard line, and Steve Mickemeyer is the place kicker in a 13-13 ball game. Mickemeyer gets it up there, and it is good, and the Saints are back in front again, this time 14-13. We'll be right back.
Well, the Steelers went out in front of the Saints earlier in the game, 3-0 on a field goal by Jarrella. Then Archie Manning threw a touchdown pass. I can't get it out to Rich Marty. And Bradshaw came back with a touchdown toss to Swan, and Roy Jarrella kicked a field goal that made it 13-7, but now a 5-yard run by Tony Galbraith makes it 14-13 Saints with 13 and a half minutes left in the game.
Mickemeyer kicks it very high, rather short, down to Anderson at the 13. Coming forward over the 20, the 25, the 30, has blocking up over the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50, the next speed, depending on the angle, getting to the 40 and bringing it down at the New Orleans 34-yard line. Eric Shelton caught up with him. He had passed out in front of them, had good blocking. Then he was slowed down, and they cut an angle on him and brought him down at the 34.5-yard line. So that was a fine run back for Larry Anderson.
Oh, can he fly 52 yards on the run back? He got a little bit of a block from Rick Mosher, and then he was gone.
First down, 10 yards to go. Steelers hand off to Blyer, and Blyer running to the right. He's in trouble, puts his head down, and manages to fight his way forward for a yard or so. Alex Price, 6-year veteran from Alcorn State, making the tackle at the 33-yard line. It's going to be second down, 8.5 yards to go for the Steelers. 12:55 to play. New Orleans up 14-13, and Larry Anderson with that fine run back puts the Steelers in excellent field position. Call it second down 9. Bradshaw giving it to Blyer, this time over the right side, out over the 30 to 25. He goes to the 20 and down at the 19-yard line. Ray Brown and Tom Myers stop Rocky. They open it up beautifully for him over the right side. And Rocky takes it inside the 20. The Rocky Blyer running show. 16th first down of the afternoon.
71 yards for the Rock unofficially on 14 carries.
Wide out, Swan right. Stallworth to the left. Bradshaw to Franco. Puts his head down, hits off the left side, and goes to the 16-yard line. Pat Hughes there to beat Franco Harris after a 3-yard gain. Fettersfield comes out of the play. They spot the ball at the New Orleans 16. We're to second down and 7 yards to go. Next Sunday, starting time for our broadcast will be 8:30 in the evening, Eastern Time. Steelers and the Rams. Bradshaw calling the signals. The give is inside to Harris, breaks the tackle, spins, and then they close in on him. Down on the ground and lost the football, but it was a dead football. Harris was down on the turf. Hughes and Reese hit off a one-man and was hit by a mob of them. Will mark the ball at the 14-yard line. Jerry Mullins came up with the ball, but it was already dead. He was on the turf.
Well, it skittered right over to Moon, and just to be on the safe side, he fell on it very alertly. So, all right, it's at the 14-yard line. Make it the 13.5, third down and 5.
This time a slot right formation with Stallworth in the slot, and Bradshaw drops back. They're coming after him. He fires, and it's incomplete. In going for Swan at the 8, and Clarence Chapman made a quick move in front of Swan, had his hands on the ball, deflected it, and it's incomplete. So it is fourth down and 5, and here comes Girella with an opportunity to put Pittsburgh back in front.
Swan was complaining to the official on the play, to the linesman, saying that Chapman wasn't treating me very nicely here, but the linesman pays no attention. Girella going to kick from the 22-yard line, a 32-yard field goal attempt.
Ray Colquitt is the holder. A 32-yard attempt by Girella down the middle. Ball is down. Girella kicks it. High enough, long enough, hits the upright, and is no good. Girella had it high enough and long enough, and it hit the upright on the right side and came back no good. So New Orleans takes over the football.
And last week, against the Kansas City Chiefs here at Three Rivers Stadium, Roy hit that same upright, the left upright, in the end zone down to our left when he was attempting an extra point. It happened again, and this one is really crucial because the Saints are leading the Steelers with 10 minutes and 43 seconds remaining, 14-13, and though they have the ball back at their 20-yard line, they've shown an ability in this game to move the football and possess it, to eat up the clock, and also to score. They don't have a lot of points on the board. They have 14 points up there, however, and they were hard-won points. So the Saints can now give the Steelers a lot of trouble with that 1-point lead. And when I say give them a lot of trouble, I mean keep the Steelers aching to get that ball back, but not getting it back in a hurry. The Steelers, if they win today, they would virtually be assured of a playoff spot just by splitting their remaining 6 games. They would not mathematically be into the playoffs, but they virtually would be in there at least as a wild card team just by going 500 in their remaining 6 ball games. But as I said, that's if they win today's football game, and right now they're in a mess of trouble.
Reminder for those of you listening to WTAE in Pittsburgh, stay tuned after the game for Steelers Hotline. We'll open the phone lines for you to call in and talk Steelers with Myron and me at the Steeler offices and Bob Copper at the studio. Join us for the Steeler Hotline right after this game on WTAE. First down 10 at the 20. New Orleans has the ball, leading by 1 point, 14-13. Archie Manning is the quarterback. Manning inside handoff, gives it to Muncie, and Muncie is nailed on a crossbuck, 1 yard. Steve Furness made the play back in that defensive line. It looks as though they might have taken a turn to the conservative at this point. And that might have been the most unimaginative run of the day for New Orleans. J.D. Fogarty's come up with some interesting points on the running of Rocky Blyer this afternoon. He has 71 yards. And he shows me that in earlier games against San Francisco, O.J. carried 17 times for 37 yards. Against L.A., Lawrence McCutcheon, 19 carries for 49 yards. Rocky could wind up the afternoon with more than both of them combined. Handoff is given to Galbraith, and Galbraith running to the left gets into trouble and is brought down at the 21-yard line, finally by Steve Furness. Lambert is mad. Somebody was doing something to him that he didn't like. Third down 9, and Tony Dungy trots on the field, replacing Robin Cole. Cole in on that series in place of Lawrence Taves. Third down 9, the crowd coming alive, chanting defense. Manning sets his pup. Ike Harris is back in there. Manning drops back. Manning drills the ball upfield, caught by Galbraith at the 34, over the 40, and is brought down by Mike Wagner at the 45-yard line. So Galbraith, their leading receiver, coming out of the backfield, cutting sharply across the secondary, took the pass and advances to the 45 for a New Orleans first down.
A gain of 23 yards. He got behind Jack Ham on the play, beat Ham, and you've got to hand it to Archie Manning. His passing is pinpoint.
So Galbraith, who had not caught a pass all afternoon, has had 2 out of the last 3 catches. New Orleans 15 of 22 through the air. Running now out of the I formation. Muncie, play action fake to him, and here's Manning passing downfield to Childs. Lays it in over the head of a defensive man to the 37-yard line. Ron Johnson makes the tackle. And with that, Jack Ham going up to not reach the ball.
Yes, he might have even gotten a finger on it. In fact, I'm almost certain he did, but it didn't help. And Archie Manning again hits for a complete pass, and the Saints are driving toward what may be a touchdown that locks it up. They lead 14-13, 8 minutes now remaining.
Childs came into the game with 27 catches in 9 games. He's had 5 on the afternoon. Pitch back goes to Muncie. Muncie running to the left, cuts back, and is nailed at the 35-yard line. L.C. Greenwood and John Banaszak and Dwight White were all there at the 35-yard line. Good, strong hit, a 2-yard gain.
Heck of a hit by L.C., who came from defensive left end across the field to fill up that hole in a flash. Some play by L.C.
Clock turns down to 7:23. Time is not critical, but right now it is vital. 14-13. Main problem, New Orleans came up with a third down pass play to pull the Saints out of the hole. Had they been forced to give up the football, it could have been a different story at this point in the game. Handoff is to Muncie, and Muncie nailed by Donnie Shell. Shell plugged the gap that time. And Muncie looked like he might be off and running, but there was Shell to meet him. And he gets only a yard out of the play, third down 7.
So the pattern continues. The Saints are not fighting off huge yardage with their running game. It's Archie Manning's passing that is the threat. He's now in a definite passing down, third down and 8. He is 16 for 24. That's 67%.
Dungy in, Robin Cole out. Saints on third and 7. They have been deadly with this particular situation. Now Manning hands it off, and Muncie with blockers running to the right. Makes his turn. He is nailed on a tackle by Ron Johnson. Hit him at the 35. His momentum carried him to the 33-yard line. So the Saints have to make a decision. It is 4th down now and 6 yards to go. And across the way, they're preparing to send their field goal kicker on, Steve Mickemeyer. Mickemeyer missed earlier in the ball game on a 51-yard attempt. And this time he's going to have that kind of distance again.
The Saints tried to cross the Steelers up with the sweep instead of the pass, but Ron Johnson came through the blocking and made what was one of the great plays of this ball game. What a hit by Johnson.
50-yard attempt. J.D. points out he had the length on the last, but he doesn't on this one. Coming down short. So the Steelers get the ball back at their own 20-yard line. No, check that. Bring it back out to the previous spot at the 33-yard line. And they are 67 yards away from pay dirt. 5:33 to play. The necessity now is to move the football, starting at the Pittsburgh 33, because Pittsburgh is down by 1 point to a stubborn New Orleans team. Pittsburgh out of the huddle. Colt, Davis, Webster, Mullins, Finney in the interior line. Bradshaw drops back, flips it out to Stallworth, the left flat. He breaks the tackle and goes to the 35. He was down in his haunches. I think they tried to set a screen for him. It was late forming. He was getting up, was hit, and broke that tackle and came forward for about 3 yards, 2 yards. 2nd down, 8. Jim Merlo and Ray Brown on the tackle. That is the 19th pass tried, the 13th caught, and Stallworth caught the first one of the afternoon. He has 2 on the day. 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Bradshaw dropping straight back this time. Looking. Now drilling it up to the 40-yard line to Franco. And Harris is brought down by Jim Merlo at the 40-yard line. On Terry's 20th pass. And Harris catching the ball. Franco showing 4 catches on the afternoon. New England now leading Buffalo 14-3 in the 3rd. Atlanta leading San Francisco 14-3 in the 4th. Blyer moves up into the close slot on the right side. And Bradshaw drops back. Bradshaw steps to the left and throws to Randy Grossman at the 50. Breaks the tackle, comes to the 45, the 40, and brought down at the 38-yard line. Grossman got it and dragged the tackler with him. Ray Brown he was dragging, and Jim Merlo came over to help bring him down, and a great play by Grossman takes it to the 38-yard line.
Then it was Merlo, the linebacker, trying to cover on the pass. Grossman beat him to it inside him and then made a nice move around him to escape, and Merlo had to come up from behind to help out on the play. The Steelers first down at the 38 of New Orleans.
First down 10 at the 38-yard line. Near Hashbart to give to Blyer. Again, that hole is there, and Blyer fires through it down to the 30. Jim Merlo and Tommy Myers make the stop. And the Rocky Blyer running show continues. 3:20 to go. The ball at the 39.5-yard line, and Blyer picked up a solid 8 yards on that carry. 2nd down and 2 yards to go. And Blyer is now in with 79 or 80 yards. The give to Blyer. This time they hit him, but he keeps going. 2nd effort, and it takes him almost to a first down. Driving through that time, Alex Price hit Blyer shy of the line of scrimmage. But he shook loose and kept driving forward, took it almost to the 27-yard line. Grooms and Brown made the stop. Blyer has a first down, number 18 for the Steelers. And they have the ball at the New Orleans 22 with 2:52 on the turning clock.
Well, Jack, I hope I don't miss the touchdown. I'm going to have to run downstairs, but that was some running by the rock.
Bradshaw sets his club at the New Orleans 22-yard line. First down 10. Bradshaw gives the ball to Blyer. Blyer crossing and slanting into the left side to the 25-yard line. Fetterspiel and Hughes team up to bring him down. He gets 2 yards on that carry. Mark it at the 24.5-yard line. A 2-yard gain, 2nd down, and a short 8 to go. Blyer is now carried for 84 yards on the afternoon, and the clock turns down to 2:15 to play. Steelers have Swan to the right. Stallworth to the left. Blyer steps into a close slot on the left side. On the second down play, Bradshaw's back. Has time. Throwing to the far side, and Swan on a comeback at the sideline. Could not get to the ball. Had Chapman and Merlo covering him over there. So the pass is incomplete. The 2-minute warning has been sounded for the automatic timeout down on the field. Steelers football continues after this timeout.
Attention.
Dr. David Huber working intently on the area around L.C. Greenwood's left eye down on the bench. Apparently got a cut in that area. We'll be back after this pause on the Steelers Football Network.
This is WVAM-FM Altoona, Country FM 100, your station for Steeler football in 1978.
Big play for the Steelers. 3rd down and 8 yards to go at the New Orleans 24.5-yard line. Bradshaw's back. The rush is on. He has to unload it. He does to Blyer at the 19. Blyer at the 15, the 10, the 5. Blyer going in for the touchdown. Blyer came over and beat Tom Myers, the free safety, at the near side of the field. Myers crouching down in dejection as Blyer took that pass, went to the sideline, and galloped into the end zone unmolested, capping a great afternoon for the Rock from Notre Dame. Just a perfectly executed play and a great run by Blyer as he beat his man, took the pass just inside the 20, went to the sideline, and went in unmolested. Blyer scoring his first touchdown on a pass. He's had 4 of them rushing on the season. 19-14, Girella will go after the point. Croak with the holder at the 10. The ball is down. Roy kicks it. And it is good. The Steelers take a 20-14 lead over the New Orleans Saints. That was the 23rd pass thrown, the 16th caught, the 2nd touchdown pass. Blyer making his 3rd catch of the afternoon and his first touchdown catch of the season. It came with a minute 51 on the clock, and the Steelers went 67 yards in 8 plays. That was after a field goal try by Mickemeyer. So they started at their own 33. And that was a 24-yard pass to Blyer. Well, the score is 20-14 in favor of the Steelers. This one has had all the elements you want in a good football game. No question about it whatsoever. Now the problem is Chandler, an excellent return man. Will Girella kick it away deep? Or will he squib it downfield and try to make it tough to handle? Chandler is waiting in the end zone. Right to left, Girella moves forward. And he kicks it low trajectory, but it's picked off at the 25-yard line by Don Schwartz. Up over the 30, running to the right, the 35 goes to the 42-yard line. And penalty markers go down. So that one was a sailing ball, tough to handle, but not for Schwartz as it came directly to him. And he returned it to the 42, and a clipping call against New Orleans. The tackle was made by Robin Cole. And you had to hold your breath on those penalty markers for fear that they were looking at a possible face mask thing or something like that. It was a clipping call against the Saints. Marked off in the 41, taking the ball back to the 25-yard line.
Personal foul, clipping, number 32 on the run back, first down.
So the crowd is chanting defense here at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. The Steelers have a 20-14 lead over the New Orleans Saints. The Saints have 3 timeouts remaining. First down 10 for the Saints at their own 25-yard line. Archie Manning has been deadly with his passing this afternoon. Manning steps up under center, now takes his tight end and moves him to the left side. That changes the defensive alignment of the Steelers. Shell goes over to take the strong side. Back goes Manning. The rush is on. They're after him. He flips it in desperation out of bounds over the head of Tony Galbraith. Manizak and Green. Bearing down on Archie Manning. Now they help him get up to his feet. And they were tracking him that time. And Manning unloaded the football in the direction of Galbraith. High over his head and out of bounds. Second down, 10. Manning 16 of 24 today for 284 yards and 1 touchdown. Bradshaw 16 of 23, 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Second down, 10. New Orleans at its own 25-yard line. Manning, and the rush is on again. Flips it into the left flat to Galbraith. Coming up over the 25. Caught at the 30 and brought down at the 31-yard line. Tony Galbraith in the left flat taking the pass. And tackled by Lauren Taves at the 31-yard line. A gain of 6 yards. 25th pass. 17th completed. And Tony Galbraith getting his third of the day, 48th of the season. And Manning goes back again on 3rd and 4. Manning firing downfield, and it is caught at the 48-yard line. Ike Harris caught the ball, and Donnie Shell put the hit on him, hoping to jar it loose, but it was not to be. So they're marking the ball in the area of the 48.5-yard line. The Saints have their 22nd first down. Manning has thrown 26 times. He has completed 18. Harris caught 2 back in the first half, 3 of them in the first half. That is his first catch of the second half of the ball game. So 4 in the afternoon. Ike Harris has 26 on the season. And Archie Manning is throwing the ball with authority. We would remind you that our broadcast time next Sunday live from the Coliseum in Los Angeles, 8:30. Steelers and the LA Rams. This ball club from New Orleans defeated the Rams 10-3. And you knew they were going to be tough, no question about it. Came in here with a 3-game win streak. Now we have 55 seconds remaining, and the Saints have brought the ball to the 49-yard line. They have 2 timeouts remaining. So what a job Dick Nolan has done, taking over for Hank Straff. Installing his own defense. Getting this ball club to believe in itself. Down in the Steeler bench area, Mike Webster taking time to say a few words to Rocky Blyer. Blyer sits there shoulder to shoulder with the rookie, Rick Moser. The veteran and the rookie. And Blyer having one of his finest days. First down, 10 New Orleans at its own 49-yard line. Archie Manning is the quarterback. Manning is going back. The rush is on. Manning fires to Galbraith at the Steeler 47-yard line. He's immediately taken down by Jack Lambert as they give them the short pass. Their 27th pass, their 19th cut. And Tony Galbraith, 49 catches on the season. Second down, a long 5. Manning ready to go again. Manning is back, throwing it out to the far side. We have a flag down. The pass is incomplete. It was going to Childs, the tight end, covered by Lauren Taves and Mel Blunt. The pass was incomplete, but a penalty marker down, holding against the Saints. So the Steelers, if they take it, it would be second down and 15. If they don't, it will be third down and 5. So they have to make a big decision with 26 seconds on the clock. Let's see what the decision is going to be. They are marking off the 10 yards. Back to the New Orleans 43-yard line. So a holding call against the New Orleans Saints. And they're up to 75 yards in total penalty yardage on the afternoon. It is second down and 15 yards to go. The Saints are at their own 43-yard line. 26 seconds remaining to play. Out of the huddle comes John Hill, the 245-pound center from Lehigh. Steelers have 5 defensive backs. Tony Dungy is in there. Manning is back deep. Now he fires one up to Galbraith off his fingertips at the 48-yard line as Ron Johnson came up to cover. Galbraith went up in the air, got one hand on the ball, couldn't come close to catching it. The pass is incomplete, and the clock turns down to 21 seconds. Third down at 15, New Orleans from its own 43-yard line. A nail-biter right down to the finish. The Steelers reaching out, trying to grasp their 9th win of the season against a stubborn and extremely talented New Orleans club. Somebody was trying to tell me before this game started, this might just be a ho-hum affair. No way. It's been a dogfight. Archie Manning sets the Saints on 3rd and 15 at the New Orleans 43, with the clock reading 21 seconds. Manning is back. Manning cocks his arm, throws down the middle, completes it down to the Steeler 45 to Henry Childs, who immediately is wrestled down to the turf by Jack Lambert, leaving the Saints short of a first down. L.C. Greenwood is hurt. Got hurt on that pass rush. Greenwood had earlier been getting attention for an apparent cut around his forehead area. 11 seconds remaining in the ball game. 11 seconds. So that is the 29th pass. 20 of them have been completed. And Childs, the big tight end from Kansas State, has been on the receiving end of 6 passes today, upping his total from 27 to 33. He caught 27 in 9 games, an average of 3 per game, and today's had 6 receptions. For the Steelers, the big story has been the exceptional running of Rocky Blyer, 84 yards, Franco Harris, 58 yards, then Blyer making the key catch and going from inside the 20-yard line down the sideline for the touchdown. The doctors, Dave Huber, Paul Steele, out there, and they're giving attention to the right knee of L.C. Greenwood. And that could be bad news. New Orleans has the ball at the Steeler 45. It is 4th down, 3.5 yards to go. Saints have 1 timeout remaining. More importantly, they have 11 seconds. You've almost got to think that they've got to try to go all the way. They could go short and pick up the first down and stop the clock, but that would leave it maybe down as far as 4 or 5 seconds. That would bring it down to probably 1 play. So it will be most interesting to see what they do. 4th down, 3.5 yards to go. And L.C. Greenwood is getting help coming off the field. It is the right leg, injured. Now he shakes off support by Ralph Berlin and is walking rather gingerly on it himself, and the crowd standing and applauding. Greenwood coming off very slowly. L.C. Greenwood, one of the scrappers in the steel curtain. John Banaszak replaces him at defensive left end. 4th down, 3.5 for the New Orleans Saints. Archie Manning is back there. Archie Manning throws to Galbraith at the 40. Galbraith breaks the tackle, running to 35, and Galbraith is going down, and the clock is running out 1 second. They get timeout called with 1 second. And Galbraith was trying to get timeout as Jack Lambert made the tackle. The 30th pass by Manning. 21 of them completed. And Galbraith, their leading pass receiver, makes his 50th reception of the season, his 5th of the afternoon. He did not catch a pass in the first half. New Orleans has gone to its 23rd first down. The ball is at the Steeler 35. There's time for 1 play. Now the Steelers have got to protect. You give them the short one. But if you give it to Childs or Galbraith, you've got a problem in bringing them down, because they're some kind of runners, as we saw with Galbraith that time. So the strategy will be to try to hold them to the short one and break up the long one. And again, as Tony Dungy said in an earlier ball game, on a desperation heave into the end zone, you see it coming. And you're there, and you don't know when you go up, whether you're going to commit pass interference. You see it coming, and you don't know what's going to happen. Here is Donnie Shell coming back out on the field. Steve Furness is coming off. Banaszak, Green, and White are there in a three-man front. Taves is in there. Lambert is in there. Ham is in there. Johnson, Wagner, Dungy, Blunt, Shell, an umbrella defense. 1 second remaining. New Orleans at the Steelers' 35-yard line. Sending Chandler to the left. Ike Harris to the right. Archie Manning is back. He's looking, firing down to the 26-yard line in his spot, and the play is stopped by Donnie Shell. Wes Chandler caught the pass. Shell immediately brought him down, and that was the end of the ball game. The 31st pass, the 22nd one completed, and Chandler was the receiver. But Donnie Shell was there to bring him down inside the 30-yard line. And so the Steelers, finding their hands full during this beautiful afternoon at Three Rivers Stadium, emerge as victors in a hotly contested football game against the New Orleans club that has shown tremendous improvement in the year 78. The end of the game and the final score is Pittsburgh 20, New Orleans 14. I'll be back with Steelers wrap-up in a minute. Did you know that an NFL team, both of them, have to clear the premises immediately after a ball game? That is a league rule. They must get off the turf. And they've just made it. They've been out there shaking hands, and I think there's a lot of mutual respect coming out of this ball game. It went this way. Pittsburgh a 3-0 lead at the end of a period. Steelers starting at their own 20 were stopped at the New Orleans 10. Harris ran for 32 yards in that drive. There was a 29-yard pass to Stallworth, a 15-yard pass to Franco. Roy kicked the 27-yard field goal 3-0. New Orleans in the second period took advantage of a penalty on a punt play. New Orleans was giving up the football. That kept the drive alive on an illegal cut by Rick Moser. The Saints drove 70 yards in 11 plays, scored on a 6-yard pass to Rich Monty, and it was 7-3. In the third period, Pittsburgh, a 77-yard drive, 12 plays. Fourth down pass play kept that drive alive. 22 yards to Swan. It went to the 6-yard line. Swan scored on a 6-yard scoring pass from Bradshaw, 10-7. Mickemeyer missed a 51-yard field goal try in the third period. Steelers started at their own 34 after the missed field goal. They drove to the New Orleans 4. Big plays, passes to Swan, Blyer, and Grossman. The running of Harris and Blyer. Girella kicked the 21-yard field goal. It was 13-7. In the fourth, New Orleans went 80 yards in 7 plays. The first play of the series, a 32-yard pass to Chandler to the Steeler 48. A 30-yard pass to Childs to the 5-yard line. Galbraith swept left end 5 yards for the touchdown. The point made it 14-13. Later in the fourth, Girella missed a 32-yard field goal try. It hit the upright, no good. A bad field goal try from 50 yards out by Mickemeyer gave the ball to the Steelers at their own 33. And they went 67 yards in 8 plays, and the scoring play was a 24-yard pass to Blyer for the touchdown. And Blyer this afternoon running at 84 yards and 17 carries. Franco had 16 yards and 58 carries against the defense that had stopped O.J. Simpson, stopped Lawrence McCutcheon. 19 first downs, Pittsburgh 23 for the Saints. Steelers 23 passes tried, 16 completed, 2 for touchdowns, 1 intercepted. The 9th interception of the year for Terry Bradshaw. Manning threw 31 times, completed 22. He was a threat at any point on the field, anywhere in the ball game. Next Sunday night, we're back on the air at 8:30 from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The Steelers and the Rams, who sport the top records in the National Football League, will meet. 8:30 broadcast time, live from the Coliseum. In our booth today, Lou Kreck covering the Steelers, J.D. Fogarty covering the New Orleans Saints. Our engineers, Tim Barcy and Greg Benson. Our technical director and producer, Tom Leslie. And the final score again, the Steelers 20, the Saints 14.